we got quite a few subs out of it.
Before you guys hit the big time.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm hoping my big time's like right around the corner.
I don't even understand why I have subscribers.
Your trajectory is really good.
I'm working my ass off though, for sure, man. It's getting to be, man.
Oh,
it's getting rough.
I'm hearing two of you. Let me fix that
King,
real quick. There we go.
King, I will. Oh, we're live now. Sorry, I'll talk to you.
Oh shit! Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Super professional.
Like I said, I was going to put us live, and then I just like clicked the button.
Now that we're live and you're on the spot, King Crocoduck, are you too big to come on my channel?
He is, though. He is, to be fair.
Yeah.
Your subscriber bar must be this tall or higher to allow that.
But since we just see your avatar, we can't actually see the subscriber bar.
I feel confident I'll hit the 1,000 mark by June 14th, which will be my 4 months in the community. So that's
very nice.
Yeah.
He has a great channel.
Thank you.
I went on.
She did. And
but
so
I mean nothing.
And no, whatever. You were the first person I rescheduled.
Oh, sorry.
No. I mean, sorry, not rescheduled, but double scheduled. You were the first person. You're the first person that I went. You've already been on. Come back on again. I guess except Eric.
It sounded bad at first.
Eric just fills in. I don't know. No, brilliant.
Because I'm a fucking delight.
Oh, Dylan.
Dylan is the first person I rescheduled because Dylan's like dealing with life stuff, and he's supposed to be on this week's episode, but now I'm worried because he's not replying to anything that he's gonna have to.
He's not responding to Kyle either. Me and him have a debate on the non sequitur show scheduled.
Yeah, I know that things are supposed to be evening out like right now-ish, so I think there's a chance that everything's gonna be fine. But I miss the guy. He's another guy that I have, another atheist guy that I have an odd amount of sexual tension with.
To be fair, Brilliant Out is awesome and also incredibly huggy. If you ever had a chance to meet him in real life, he's very huggy.
I'm sure I will. He's so cute, man.
So what do you guys think of that? I've only got about 20 minutes left of consciousness in me. So.
I think that's about how I feel after the stream, because it felt like, okay, let me get the worst part of the stream I'm going to get out of the way. When he said, I think religion is a great delivery mechanism, and that's why we need to keep it. And then when you said, okay, well, what if it was Islam? He's just like, but why are we talking about Islam?
Yeah,
Can I sing my song?
You can sing your song.
Okay. I made a song for the beginning of this stream. Well, I didn't make the song. It's just a David Cohen's Hallelujah. Let me turn around to my piano here. It's only one verse, don't worry. But it's relevant to what you just said. Also, let me change my mic.
I'm not sure if I'm excited or scared. Maybe I'm both.
I think I'm both.
I'm exhausted. Okay.
Anybody erect?
Me.
I knew it. Hey, friended guy, you're full of shit. The way you talk makes you a dick. Points aren't irrelevant just because you say they are. You can't let go of ways of the past. So now we will put you on blast. Shannon beat you down, but her words can't make it to ya. Your channel's through ya. Your channel's through ya. Your channel's through ya. What will you do? Yeah, that's all I had. I probably gargled some more.
I'd clap if I wasn't holding my phone.
That was perfect.
That was a lot of cracking.
I need to
So you guys were frustrated, eh?
I was very frustrated at Friended.
I was yelling at my fucking. So I have it on a Bluetooth speaker while I was taking a shower. And so it's just me sitting there like sudsing up my hair. And I was like, that is too fucking relevant.
Yeah, Friended and I get along very well. But whenever we talk about this topic, it tends to degrade. Because I feel like he says things like, well, what you're saying is, and then he just says something just batshit crazy.
He's the king of the straw
okay,
man.
we'll adopt your point of view, and everyone will just, descend into anarchy and everybody and vengeance and
I don't know why anybody's trusting somebody to evaluate the points of others who does so consistently strawman the other person's points and then designates themselves the authority of relevance and decide which points actually matter and which ones don't. Because a lot of the points fucking matter.
How did you feel, Casey? How do you feel right now? Do you want to start drinking? Want to do shots? Let's do shots.
Yeah, I can't. I gotta work on my defense. Gotta prepare my defense for stuff. But Friended and I, we get along. So I mean, we have our disagreements, but that's just life, you know. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This is my first exposure to him, so maybe I'm just gonna have to hate him at first.
He's an acquired taste. He is an acquired taste.
Are you a hatred presuppositionalist?
Indeed. What is
Like,
his?
he and I get along well. Sorry, go ahead. What's your question?
What's his position in the, like? What is his channel for?
That's a good question. He's a bit
kind
of a contrarian.
He's a bit all over the place on his channel, and I think Shannon, you're probably definitely right there. He is kind of a contrarian.
Right now, it seems to just kind of be an homage to Jordan Peterson, more so than anything else. That seems to be his primary focus. He has 3 channels, actually, altogether. He has one for live streams, one called Think Club, and one called Friended4ever. And, yeah, but I mean, Friended is a complex animal. He is very, very, very convinced of his position, and I feel like we've been having the same discussion / argument to varying degrees for about 4 months, where he says, nobody understands my position, and then you try to explain your position, and he just completely misunderstands your
he literally takes your position and goes, is this a good replica of the Godless Island?
Yeah, so to a certain degree, yeah. But I don't know. Initially, I thought that maybe he was just kind of a dishonest interlocutor, but I'm not sure. I just think that he perhaps he just legit really, really, really feels strongly that any points that I'm making are in fact just, false or dangerous from his perspective.
It seems that he has the idea in his head that anti-theism is one thing, and almost any anti-theist that I've talked to, me, you, Godless Cranium, whoever happens to hold the position, we don't seem to hold the position that he ascribes to us. Mm-hmm. And yet, when we have, I have not personally had a conversation with Friended, whichever deity happens to be listening at the time, but it seems that whenever you try to explain that position, he goes, oh, so let me get this straight. Your position is my schema of anti-theism. And you go, no, your schema is incorrect. And he goes, oh, hold on, let me change it. It is other version of my schema of anti-theism.
Yeah, I feel like that might be fair.
So here's my question, because you all know him much more well than I do, or you're more familiar. You mentioned he comes off as something of a contrarian. Is it more important to him that he actually believes things that are true, or does it strike you as important to him that he believes things that he perceives as himself being the only one or one of a very select few to even realize that it's true?
Oh, that's a good question. I
don't think he cares so much if it's true. I think he even said this in not in so many words, though.
Well, I think he cares that it's empirically based. He's big on height, but the thing is that he's adopted a perspective regarding religion that adheres to the Durkheimian model, and when he's arguing with anti-theists or arguing against anti-theism, his anti-theism position, he's doing so from a perspective that we haven't adopted. Right? Because he's doing his view of theism is the Durkheimian model, and the Durkheimian model isn't the colloquial model that most people are kind of riling against. Right? So,
yep. And I wanted to offer something fresh into this interminable debate by offering anti-theism.
I think you just gave me an idea for my next video.
Anti-theism.
The idea basically was that in order to take on Friended's position, there are certain antecedents that require you to take on a condescending and paternalistic view of the religious. That was sort of the spiel I wanted to give.
I don't know why, but my brain automatically put what you said in a Pepto-Bismol commercial. It was like nausea, heartburn, indigestion, anti-theism. Hey.
Yeah, well, I think King Crocoduck did a better job than me at kind of explaining my position. Unfortunately, my earphones decided that I wasn't going to be talking to people anymore. And just as you were starting to kind of explain the two versions of anti-theism, the one that Friended seems to be arguing against and the one that most of us actually hold, I started to hear you give a good definition. Actually, can you give it again for me here? Because I feel like you did a better job even probably than me, because I was getting tired towards the end of explaining it.
Well, I was actually offering what I remembered you claim your position on anti-theism was. So if it was good, it was only because it was your own words. So stop being so narcissistic.
I'm known for that, as a matter of fact. Just consummate narcissism. I never even try to understand other people because I know I'm right.
But basically, the position that I attributed to you was anti-theism being restricted to not to recognizing the distinction between a public sphere and a private sphere, and constraining religion to the private sphere.
Yes,
and to the extent that it exists in the public sphere, it's not mandated by any state or central authority.
Yes, you did a much more concise job than me. My 5-minute, very wordy response at the very end there. That's But I looked in the chat very briefly because I wanted to see your first words when I went in, and I saw in the comments section that somebody essentially said that my version of anti-theism is that I don't want anybody to be able to be religious in public or in the public, in which
you've never said
isn't at all. No, I've said quite the opposite. That people, have every right to.
People can bring their beliefs to the public sphere. I think you accept that. It's just that they can't impose it onto other people.
Exactly. I even said something to that effect. I believe that I understand that people's ideologies are going to be affected by their religion and how they think is going to be constrained by that. I wish it weren't, but I understand that it is when they go into their decision-making process. But their religious ideologies shouldn't be imposed on anything in the order of legislation or anything that's mandated publicly, and any detrimental effects should be mitigated.
Right. This is entirely in line with a liberal perspective, and this is where I think some internal tension may exist in Friended's worldview. I don't pretend to speak for him, but my suspicion is that he recognizes and he agrees with this version of anti-theism. I don't think that he would personally want religion to be imposed from the top down, but at the same time, I think he recognizes that in order to enculturate people with these memes that lead away from what he calls degeneracy, you have to get more people to be religious, and if it's not imposed from the top down, more and more people are going to be secular. The increasing secularization of society is a byproduct of people not having religion imposed upon them by the state, and there's a contradiction in there. He wants to have the liberal distinction between public and private sector. I suspect he does. But at the same time, he wants more religion to be out there.
He wants it to just naturally propagate, and it won't do that. I think it's mind potentially if there's opposition to it, like verbal opposition. So shutting down verbal opposition.
Yeah, which is why, and I'm going to be uncharitable now. So if you're watching Friended, forgive me. Which is why I suspect. He goes after this more extreme version of anti-theism as a substitute for the actual version that you subscribe to, in order to not have to face this contradiction.
He could easily, well, let's not say easily, but he could at least justify his position if he could find one person representative who claims to represent anti-theism that would agree with every way he says every way he represents the anti-theistic proposition. If he could find one, but I don't think he can find one who's like, yeah, you're nowhere close. Also, I just want to say, Godless Iowan, holy fucking shit, dude.
What did he do?
If you guys have the live chat up, just look at what he wants to happen to fucking.
He says I would like to see him fall. He said he would like to see him fall downstairs, aim his ass in the air, a stream of diarrhea shoots out of his ass and down his throat as he chokes on it.
Oh, well, I don't know if I can endorse that, but that's descriptive.
I can't even clean that up with like a fun, cute accent or impression. That just is, it's graphic.
I'm skeptical of the physics of that, but you know.
I would like to see
The physicist object.
I'm sure.
I
actually have some stairs out there. I'm sure I might be able to do a demonstration, though I can't promise I'll be able to stream on.
Let's not. Let's just not. Please, thank you.
Good.
Jesus Christ.
See that we have Natja in here for anybody who has not met yet. Natja witness yet.
Hey, Natja.
Hey.
Hey.
I think we've all sort of chatted in the chats and stuff before, and you're all pretty well familiar with me. Maybe not Crocoduck. I don't think we've had a direct chat. So hey,
you sound like a deeper voiced General Han Solo.
Ooh.
I don't know if you would know who General Han Solo is.
In the first stream we did together, I told Natja that he sounds like the voice on the other end of the phone as a person's giving their ransom to get their daughter back.
I think the only thing he would be ransoming is Dr. Gaiman.
Oh God, Dr. Gaiman.
Maybe he's the saw voice. Hello, I want to play a game.
Very well.
I have your kingdom halls here. I'd like to play a game.
So, what pissed me off the most about, actually no, there's a lot of things, but the first thing was like the way he would keep going. We're talking about the delivery method, not the rest. After he had gone down the rabbit holes himself, even if he was the one to pull it and was basically defending the exact things that a specific theology positively presented. And then, but as soon as he was losing that argument, it would be like, that's not what we're even talking about anyway, guys.
The thing that frustrated me the most was towards the end when he was like, I don't understand why you want to keep talking about religion. I was like, but that's why we're here.
That's the conversation. Like the thing that I don't understand, and I've seen this before when you had your conversation with White Engine, Shannon, on Steve's channel, where it seems to be the exact same thing where they say, we don't like anti-theists because this, and your response is, I have never met an anti-theist that believes that. Could you show me one? And they said, well, we can't, but anti-theists believe this. Well, I'm an anti-theist, and you can ask me if that's what I believe, if you would like to. Well, we could, but anti-theists believe this, and it seems that like the conversation does that.
I wonder
a lot of that.
Is it an insecurity from the fact that, which he said he's just a cultural Christian. He himself is still an atheist. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
He's an atheist.
Okay. So what I don't understand is, or maybe where I think this is coming from is how frequently, for example, if a person says, I am a Mormon, I can get right the first 20 things they believe because I used to be a Mormon and I know those things. People seem to think that the word atheist or anti-theist has as much baggage as the word Mormon or Catholic or theist, and it has
in a colloquial sense at all.
None of it.
No, really, it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, I've often said, you can put 20 atheists in a room and ask them their position on any topic and get 20 different answers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've even pointed out, and I actually had this. Natja, you saw this in my conversation with Dr. Gaiman, where I said, "Can you tell me one thing that all atheists agree on?" And he said, "Well, all atheists believe in evolution." And I said, "Incorrect." I said, "Incorrect."
This is an actual doctor.
No, he's 17.
No, he's a
school kid.
Fresh into the public sphere school kid. He said that all atheists believe in evolution. Like, no, I personally know. I can actually drive 30 minutes down the road to an atheist who is still not convinced that evolution is a thing. And I'm actually having Dr. RJ on my channel to see if I can maybe remedy that a little bit later on down the road. But fact of the matter is, I have met an atheist that does not hold this position. So can you please find something else that we all believe in?
You could be in a room with
Christians can believe in evolution as well. Like I used to believe in evolution as a Christian.
Yeah.
So.
I went from a young Earth creationist to old Earth creationist believing in evolution to an atheist. So yeah, you can hold it. That's a position you can hold.
It is
by logos. They exist.
Yeah.
I think it would only take 30 atheists in a room for one person to stand up and say, well, at least all atheists agree that they don't believe in the claim that a God exists. And with only 30, you would have one go, I don't know if I'd put it like that.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't. You can't.
an anti-theism. Anti-theism might be slightly easier to peg down, but it's slightly. His application is as though anti-theism is an alternate theocracy that he can put definitions to, or theology rather.
There's a similar
And he
problem.
also sees it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I hear there's a similar problem with philosophers. You can put 3 philosophers in the same room, and you wouldn't even be able to get them to agree that there are 3 philosophers in the room.
Or that there's even a room, or that they're even real. Yeah, it's true. I feel like one of my main frustrations is that people seem to ascribe to a definition of anti-theism or a belief about anti-theists that it's a repressive stance, that people want to eradicate religion when they're anti-theists, that they don't like religious people and they want to oppress the religious, and they want to do everything that they can within their power to ensure that people don't even have the right to be religious. And that's just not it.
Well, let me ask Shannon, could that exist under the umbrella of anti-theism? Could there be people that are that? Not, I know you're not that kind of
militant?
anti-theist. Yeah, could it?
Sure.
The reason why, yeah. And so what he's done is he's taken the most extreme form of the position that he thinks could exist. He's taken a Mitt Romney voter and promoted him all the way to Hitler sympathizer. Is what he's done.
he's taken your Muslim neighbors who don't even read the Quran anymore to ISIS. Just moved it all the way to ISIS.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I think it was Eve in the chat, and I'm not a huge fan of Eve. The very first interaction I had with her, she blocked me.
Oh, did she? Oh, I get along with Eve.
Well, she said that all people are created equal and God gives them all equal opportunities. And I said, I guess people who are starving in third world countries are a little less equal than others, because I'm a George Orwell fan. So that's a fun quote for me. And that was an instant block. Instantly blocked. Yeah, I don't even know why. Me and Godless Cranium had a chat about that, and we neither of us can figure it out. But
usually takes more than that for her.
Well, in the chat, I think she was the one that said that the way that we define anti-theism is more along the lines of secularism. But the thing is that she strawmans secularism just as much, because she ascribes. I don't even want to say ascribes. I think she projects a lot of the problems with theistic dogma onto secularism, saying that it is in fact dogmatic. And I think the problem is that secularism, even if you're not even looking at secular humanism, there's no dogma there. It's literally just, hey, church and state, go this way. That's literally all it is. That is the extent of it. Anything else you put in there is just, it's unnecessary baggage. And I don't understand why there's that conflation there. Moreover, yes, an anti-theist can be a secularist. However, a secularist will say, yeah, this is how the law is, and an anti-theist will say, this is how the law is. I also think that morally that's how it should be as well, not just strictly speaking with the law. There's still no extra baggage, though.
Do you guys want to go down the line and actually describe in just like a sentence or two what anti-theism means to each of us individually, just to show how in a group of 5 people that it probably is different?
It'd probably work, I'll tell you that for sure.
I don't know. It sounded interesting to me. If that's stupid, just...
I'm fine with that. We can go down the line. We'll start with King Crocoduck. What do you think?
Whatever I said earlier. Public sphere, private sphere. That thing.
There you go.
You're so articulate, Casey.
Very articulate.
Whatever Shannon said that I paraphrased that thing.
He saves his words for the debates.
So his subline to come on is here, but his subline to come on and actually engage is apparently much higher.
We're tired. We were still talking for like an hour and a half after that stream.
Have you guys heard who I'm debating this Thursday? Do you know who Jay Dyer is?
No.
If you don't, you should go watch some of his debates. He did debate Richard Spencer on whether or not Jesus would be alt-right. That was interesting. Yeah. My first like public build debate or whatever you want to call it, and they're throwing me right in with a person who does this for a living. So we'll see how I do. But it's about his book, which is all about how the secret sex cult exists in Hollywood, and that they're dropping all of these hints in movies to prove it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm reading his book. It's not a fun read.
Should give this guy his own radio show. Be able to tell us how cultural Marxists are spamming the airwaves with secret messages to the chemicals in the
Illuminati.
water. Turn the freaking frogs to gay.
He's mentioned Marxist a few times. I really wish. I don't know you, King Crocoduck, well enough, but could you? I'd love to hear your impression of Alex Jones saying that.
Okay, give me a moment to prep myself.
Okay, instead let's just go down the line and all do our Alex Jones impressions and fuck the anti-theism thing.
You derailed your own idea.
They turned the frickin' frogs gay.
You did it. That was actually pretty good.
I wish your face was on the screen.
I believe the frogs are gay. You convinced me. That did it.
I wish your face had been on screen because that's an important part of the Alex Jones impression because you have to go wild, with the jowls and the because I got a problem with putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I think that my headphones will fall off if I try.
Oh, I don't have much more left in me, by the way, guys. It's 1:15 where I am, and I have to work in the morning. But does anybody have anything else that they want me to say or do? No, I'm very impressionable and open to suggestion right now because I'm exhausted. So now's your chance.
Can I hear your impression of Alex Jones?
So I'm not that open to suggestion.
I think this is another issue.
Everybody has a line. That's mine.
The bar is here, and the bar for Alex Jones impressions is here.
Yeah, I need a bottle of wine.
I would say that I want to know maybe just a little more about what happened in the private. I want to say discussion, simply because I don't know how blood-sporty it was afterwards.
And on top of that, also, is this leading to a follow-up on his or your channel?
I don't know the answer to that question because Friended and I just did literally yesterday. He messaged me and was like, "You want to do a stream?" And I was like, "When?" And he said 20 minutes, and I said no, but I can do it tomorrow. And then KC got involved because you saw the stream. I think I don't even know. But how did you end up there? What happened? What happened, KC? You saw his stream and you wanted to come in, or you saw him and I fighting on Twitter?
I saw the stream on YouTube and I put a comment on. I was like, "Hey, I want to join." Nobody responded, so I went on Twitter and I saw a conversation you two were having. So I'm like, "Hey, I want in," assuming that the conversation was about the live stream, and then it sort of escalated from there into something else.
And then it just went into just rampant sexual innuendo. As most conversations between me and Casey end up going to. But anyway, or me and anybody for the most part.
I'm so excited for this Friday.
They're secret, though. You have to look for them, but they're there. Watch the stream again.
Some of them are legit secret. Did you notice that in our week's episode of Sunday Mass, I clipped out the part where Drew and I encouraged you to look up lemonparty.org?
Yes, I did. Thank you for that. Oh my God, because my face. Yeah, that's the reaction they had too when I almost fell off my chair and started yelling.
There are so many like that. Oh my God.
Oh God, that was
Patreon
bad.
content down the road.
Yeah,
it's like somebody going, "Hey, have you ever visited Meatspin?"
No, I'm not. No, I don't Google anything you assholes tell me to Google because fuck you guys. I've learned my lesson.
Would you?
But yeah, I don't remember the initial. Would I go on another stream with them? Yeah, I would.
Okay.
It's not the first one I've done. I've been on. This is like my third, or fourth stream with Friended. The first stream that I went on with him was like the day I met him. He was arguing with a bunch of people, and he was like, "You want to come on?" And I decided that because I just antagonize people on Twitter for fun, and I decided to inject myself into the conversation. He was like, "Here's the link," and I was like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Oh, you know what made me the most angry? And this isn't even relevant to the actual argument, but I didn't like it one bit. At the very beginning, he talks about trying to get Drew on, and it's certainly with the tone, he implicitly suggests that Drew is hiding from it.
Drew's not hiding.
Drew is the fucking hardest guy to get a message back from in the world if you're not Shannon. That dude does not peg down.
No, he's very busy. And also, I had to I talked initially to Friended before the stream because I didn't realize that this was even going to be in relation to the video that Drew had done until like 5 minutes before the stream.
Right.
And I said it wasn't a response to you. I said I talked to Drew quite frequently, and he knows that I talked to you. Like it wasn't. If it was a response to you, it's not something that ever came up in conversation, and something likely that would have. So I think that you may be projecting a little bit. And he was like, well, I don't understand why you won't talk to me. I'm like, well, for one, he's busy. And two, I think he may have the impression that you're not necessarily an honest interlocutor at all times. And that the conversation wouldn't be productive. And he's very much about productive conversations. And he was like, I don't understand why he wouldn't think I was an honest interlocutor. I was like, well, you do say things like, here's what, let's go with your argument and then misrepresent arguments and say, well, let's do it your way and then say crazy shit.
That sounds not unlike the reason why Richard Dawkins refuses to speak with William Lane Craig.
Oh, perhaps. I didn't know that there was a thing there.
Well, he just won't do. Sorry, go ahead.
He won't do a debate with William Lane Craig because he said that he'll debate a bishop, he'll debate anybody with any type of standing, but he will not debate somebody whose only claims to fame are either debating or what was the other one that he said? It was either debating or something else. I can't remember what the other.
I know he's not
Apologetic.
interested in ever debating young Earth creationists.
Yes, he won't debate a yak. That is one thing that he will not do. He did say that William Lane Craig was a creationist, which is true. He's not a young Earth creationist. I actually had this discussion with Jandy Apologetics. He was like, actually, Dawkins said that Lane Craig was a young Earth creationist. That was a straw man. I'm like, no, he didn't. Can you send me the link? And in the link, he just says creationist. I'm like, so does William Lane Craig believe that God created everything, or at least was the first cause?
Yes, I think it goes further. I have heard William Lane Craig advocate intelligent design in the past. He did.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he did endorse one of, I think, of Pandas and People in one of his seminars. But it was a while back.
He endorsed that book?
It was either that book or one of the intelligent design books.
Well, that's the book that got taken out of the schools, and they found out that it was completely edited. Yeah,
his intelligent design is usually, though, hand in hand with fine tuning. I wouldn't say it's necessarily young Earth, but it's always like because when you look at the physics of the matter, what you happen to find out is that the knobs are tuned so finely that actually implies intelligent design.
I'm thinking old Earth creationist with skepticism of evolution. The Living Dinosaur made a video about it some time ago. Just look up Living Dinosaur William Lane Craig and you'll see a full exposition of the matter.
Well, that's like Hugh Ross, though. I mean, Hugh Ross is a creationist. He's an astrophysicist. He believes in an old Earth, but he doesn't believe in evolution. He's a biologos guy.
At a certain point, though, when you get sufficiently wrecked in a debate, why even engage them ever again? Like, does anyone really need to debate William Lane Craig after Christopher Hitchens wrecked his whole life? Sam Harris did fine later, but Christopher Hitchens already shut down everything William represents.
My favorite one against William Lane Craig was Sean Carroll. I don't know if you saw that one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, he's a physicist at MIT and also a philosopher as well. He, oh my God, it was the greatest wreckage of William Lane Craig I'd ever seen. That one I would consider the canonical destruction of William Lane Craig. I'm
now putting this in my to watch list. You said it was Sean Carroll.
Yeah, Sean Carroll versus William Lane Craig. You have to watch it. There's this one part where William Lane Craig, as always, is misrepresenting the Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem to try to argue that creation ex nihilo is a thing. It's something supported by physics.
Yeah, it's totally not.
It's not.
Everyone nod. It'll make it look like we all get what he's saying. Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't know what creation ex nihilo is?
What? I'm not a physicist, bro.
That's
something from nothing. Something.
Oh,
from
okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I just called that.
Yeah, and Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem is an inflationary model, but that's beside the point. One of the guys who created it back in the 80s was this guy Alan Guth. He's a physicist. He developed the inflationary model in the first place, and Sean Carroll in support of his argument that Craig is misrepresenting the Borda-Guth-Vilenkin theorem, he put up a picture of his friend Alan Guth holding up a sign saying the Borda-Guth-Vilenkin theorem does not mean what William Lane Craig is saying it means. I know, I made the theorem. And Carroll was very gentlemanly about this. He was very kind to Craig. But if it were me at that point, I would have turned around and asked Craig how my ass tastes. That was.
That's why I need to bring a slushie with me everywhere, just to throw it in people's
There was really a guy in the audience holding up his. Oh, now I have.
No, not in the audience.
No, he had a picture. He had a picture of the actual person who made that theorem, holding up a sign that says that William Lane Craig got his theorem wrong.
That is
the original person who made the theorem.
Oh, that's amazing. Perfect. All right, now I have to watch.
You know who Friended reminds me of the most from the theistic side is Dinesh D'Souza. The similar styles of
Peter Hitchens.
You think Peter Hitchens?
Yeah.
I at least enjoy listening to Peter Hitchens talk. I was saying this before the stream started. I actually like Peter Hitchens. I don't agree with him on anything, but I like him. I don't like Friended, so it'd be hard to make me think that they're the same. But maybe I will later. Maybe when I see some of his videos that aren't just, guys, did everyone hear how smart I am?
Okay, so I think my Photoshop thing for the night, at some point tonight or in the next few days, I think I'm going to get a picture of Friended's avatar where he's got like the gun shooting down, but he's surfing on a scarecrow. He's just surfing on a straw man.
Oh God!
And
See, that's funny because that's what he thinks everybody's doing to him, right? Like one of the reasons that he wanted to do this was that he feels like everybody's kind of misunderstanding and misrepresenting his argument. So here's a good exercise. Why do you think that he's against anti-theism? Like, because I feel like I kind of understand his argument. Let's see if it is being misrepresented. Let's do a litmus test. So why do you think he thinks religion's beneficial?
What are his motivations for taking that position, or what is his actual support?
What are his empirical motivations? Like, because he sees it as objective because he's done research, right?
The delivery system, it's been so traditionally effective, and these are the 3 points of things that we've all deemed by scientific study are positive for society, and because religion has delivered them in such efficient ways, we should maintain those traditions to continue delivering something along those ways. Sorry if I ruined the stream.
That's relatively similar, I think, to what his argument is. He holds a Durkheimian model, and I don't know if you've ever read any Jonathan Haidt. I understood Friended a lot better after I read The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt, because he sees religion as evolving along with us. It's an evolutionary byproduct of society. It's an emergent property of us. And he say because it was necessary in the past in order to help organize and, I guess, constrain cultures and build societies, he sees it as having continuing efficacy, even though now we've got infrastructure that can clearly replace it via secular means, and it's no longer a requirement.
Can I reply to that argument, or does no one give a shit?
I give all the shits, but then I do have to go to bed.
Okay. My reply to that argument is, if we're just talking about efficacy and the rate at which people are absorbing this information, prior to the scientific method being the way that we worked out science and creating a delivery system based on that, you had a also religious method that was very effective in delivering what they were their scientific hypotheses, though at the time, because they were unchallenged, would have been technically theories, to the masses, in that entire worlds of people believed very unscientific things. But when the scientific method came along and we discovered that the appropriate delivery system is via academic texts and in schools and in colleges, we said that religious method fucking sucked. Let's switch to this. And we've only been doing that for about 200 years. And the rate at which our knowledge has improved has been by such an exponential... Okay, why am I yelling at you guys?
We're all friends here. Not
that method has been way more. So when we find a more effective method and we go with it, just because something was traditionally effective doesn't mean it even holds a candle to what the new method could do. And that is the same thing with moralities that are based on secular humanist ideas that have a moral well-being in mind, as opposed to the way morality's evolution is slowed by holding on to, well, wait, how can we say that? I mean, think of the number of Christians now who are like, yeah, no, it's fine to be gay. You're still going to go to hell, but on earth, it's not my right to judge. This is a slow way of developing. But the rest of people who went, you know what, I'm going to take my gay stuff out of the religious sphere and went for a more secular understanding of it, came to an actual humanist and beneficial to society understanding and application of it long before these other dickbags did. And I wish they had gotten to it sooner, because if so, I would have been able to get past all of those barriers that are preventing me from sucking dick right now.
Well, mic drop.
Sorry, okay, go ahead.
On that note,
on
that note, I've got to head out. It's been fun, but I see some people have joined the chat. Hi, Steve. Hi, Cosmological. Hello.
It was really good meeting you, man. I hope one day you'll check out my channel and deem me worthy of at least evaluation.
Yeah, sure. Hit me up and I'll try to come on.
Cool, man.
All right.
Bye, Casey.
Run, King. Run from me.
Run as fast as you can.
Is Steve coming in really quiet for anybody else?
Yeah, 1 sec.
Yeah, I can't hear Steve that much at all. And for Cosmological, I see this, well, it was a lovely red background. Now I don't know what I'm seeing.
I think, so my computer does a similar green thing when the 3D scanner is active.
Yeah. Didn't mean to scare my friend Casey off. I'm sorry.
I think I did.
You're scaring me off too, because I'm going to bed. But say nice things about me while I'm gone, please.
I had your back, girl, the entire time.
Did you?
Back. Yes, go look at the live feed.
I haven't looked at it. Me and Casey were still on the line with Friended for like another, I don't know, an hour and a half, like right up until this stream started, pretty much.
Don't get too excited.
I didn't see any of that stuff.
It was pure tribalism.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. So you didn't actually believe any of my arguments. You just felt compelled to defend me because I'm part of your in-group. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I like Friended, by the way. I do like him. I don't think he has a great argument, but I do like him.
This is my only exposure to him, so I'm afraid.
It's easy to get infuriated with him because of, the words that he makes out of his mouth. But he's not a bad guy. He just fundamentally disagrees with us on this point. That's all. It's still possible. It's still possible to talk to people that disagree with you, and like sometimes we have a good time. I really wish he would stop sliding into people's conversations and calling them cucks, and then wondering why they got upset with him, because duh.
I was literally about to call him a cunt. So
is Friended4ever also a Keck Lord? Is this a thing?
I don't know what that means.
It is a very, very derogatory statement in internet culture.
Okay, what isn't? But like, what fucking isn't? You guys, what's happened to my life? What am I doing? I need to reevaluate my choices.
If it helps you, there are rational people.
Now I have to look up all of the lemon people that are doing horrible things on the internet.
The lemon people.
Can I make an appeal to my own narcissism before you go? Because now I need to know, because no one told me if it was a shit argument or not. My counter argument, is that why KC left? He just hates me.
Yes. Yeah. He sent me a text message and he was like, you know what? Fuck that guy. And Steve's here. I'm out.
Yeah. See, Mr. Atheist, this is the effect we have on people.
Okay, I really have to go to bed. I'm sorry. I'm old and it's 1:30 and I have to work. Good night, you all. Be good. Behave yourself.
See you Friday.
So since everything has happened, we now have Steve McRae in the chat. We've got Cosmological in the chat. And someone who's been very quiet is in the chat. Pam is also here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Cirrus's roommate / girlfriend / waifu /
I know she put the roommate first.
Wait a second. I'm Cirrus's roommate / girlfriend / waifu.
I'm Conspiracist slash roommate slash girlfriend slash. Well,
No, I am Spartacus.
don't worry, Pam. I'm just as fuck, buddy. You ain't got nothing to worry about.
Pam, it's
Oh,
a
I
pleasure
already
to
know
meet
you guys do butt touches. It's okay.
We do philosophical butt touches. Also, speaking of that, Steve, you were in fact correct. If I'm pulling up the definitions right now, divine command theory is a simple theory that follows divine subjectivism.
Yes, which is a form of an ethical subjectivism,
And
which
if
I tried to explain to Eve.
If I were to look up another definition of it, however, there are universalist forms of subjectivism, such as the ideal observer theory or the divine command theory. Holy shit, look at all these subjective arguments.
And what do they fall under? Ethical subjectivism?
Universalist forms of ethical subjectivism. Yes.
Right. Well, Eve has a PhD supposedly, and she's telling me that divine command theory falls under ethical objectivism.
No.
Bullshit. In fact, ethical objectivism is not created, morals are not created, nor is it dependent upon a deity. That's ethical objectivism. Go look it up. And I'm like,
I literally just did because you asked me to. And, the first things that, like, everything that comes up is just ethical subjectivism, universalist ethical subjectivism. I'm like, like I understand that to the person it is an objective moral argument, but it is not ethical objectivism. It simply isn't.
She blocked Red in your live chat. Red tried to explain it. Red Venture tried to explain to her almost the exact same thing. She blocked him right off the bat.
She's blocked me several times, or not several times. She blocked me within our first interaction because she said that all people are created equal under God. My response was, what about people in third world countries who are starving? I guess they are just somewhat less equal than others. And that was an immediate block. Immediate block.
I haven't met this person, but I already know she's a liar because she brought up her education level.
No,
That's
she's
fucking like.
No, you want to know what PhD stands for?
What?
It stands for I can't think straight, so I'm just going to suck your dick with words.
Those letters don't even line up. I know because of my PhD in English.
I don't think that's the acronym, but we'll go with it. We'll go with that.
I'm going to make...
interacted with that, but...
Yeah, but it is funny because, you know, Eve's been out there on the Twitter for the longest time purporting her PhD, and yet on the entire time I've known Eve, I can tell you I can't count how many times she's ever got anything right.
Is that
well? The thing is that people that don't have a PhD will tell you that they have a PhD because that's all they can fucking do.
Is that like somebody who says that actually my IQ is 160? That makes me smarter than you.
Pretty much.
That person must watch Rick and.
But if you want to say I was right again, I'm happy to listen to that. I put that on a soundboard.
I got to.
That's how I fall asleep at night. It's on a loop.
I used to pull the IQ arguments when I was like as I was fresh emerging from Mormonism, had this like big angry breakup with a fiance, and I just became a cunt of a person, and I acknowledged that was a part of being a cunt of a person.
Shannon's like, I have a PhD in
fuck.
You have a high
God,
IQ,
that sounds
but
really
you have a high
bad phrasing on that
IQ
one,
also,
Shannon.
IQ?
Phrasing.
Cosmological, you're coming in so quiet that I think we're all talking over you.
Is that what he's trying to say? Cosmo?
Cosmological.
Oh, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Only when we're all quiet.
You're very
low,
quiet, Cosmo.
Can you jump a little higher?
that's
Maybe
weird.
then we can hear you. You're just a little too short for the conversation.
Cosmological, have we met yet?
well,
Is this our first?
I don't think we have.
I think it's our first formal meeting.
Stand on your step stool, Cosmo.
You're Drew's friend, though, aren't you?
Reach that mic.
yeah,
Did you watch the episode of Sunday Mass he was on? Because I loved seeing that side of Drew.
I didn't see that. No.
I have an isolated clip of him saying, "You're watching Mr. Atheist, and I have a boner." It was weird coming from Drew.
That doesn't sound weird to me, but I've met Drew in real life, and that sounds exactly like the Drew that I met.
It's my ringtone.
He was on Heathen thingy, wasn't he?
Yeah, Talk Heathen today.
Talk Heathen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
They actually met on my show.
They have like 450 watchers. That wasn't bad. Not bad.
Oh yeah, they do pretty good. They do pretty good. I'm interviewing Phil from Atheist Experience this coming week, and then hopefully
Phil Sessions.
Yeah. And
Nice
then
guy.
Hopefully, I'm not going to announce it now because if I don't get it, I'd be so disappointed. But hopefully, have a very special interview that looks like it could work out for their 1000th episode of Atheist Experience.
1000th?
I'm not good with that. So I was raised with a British person by a British person. So the way I say words, there are lots of words I don't say very well. So I try to say colloquial, for example, but Americans say colloquial.
Right.
So there's lots of words that I
That's
just
because it's a
fuck up with.
Q instead of a K. Thank you.
Yeah, colloquial.
Yeah, but it's QU.
Say it like the adults.
Colloquial. Say it like the people who originated the language, asshole.
Fuck them.
We came to America to get away from those fucks, okay?
Yeah, exactly. We left them for a reason.
When we're in America, why don't we speak American? I can see Russia from my house. Just so you know, that's the bitch standing up for you right now.
How has the Earth been around 4 billion years if it's only 2018?
I'm supposed to be editing right now, but I can't because my hands keep on going up here.
Oh my God, the guy
Stop
who
trying to
I'm
write
debating this, that reminded me of this Steve, the guy that I'm debating on your show Thursday, or having a discussion with. I don't think we're officially billing it as debate. Yeah, we're having a discussion. I'm going to ask questions about his book. But I watched a debate where he made the case about one of the proofs of Jesus. I'm pretty sure it was him. One of the proofs of Jesus being the fact that we switched, that our AD BC is all.
That's my favorite argument.
Did they not realize there's no zero, like no year zero, right? And he was probably born like in spring, and if Jesus existed, and that the fact that we changed our calendar, we have changed calendar more than once.
Oh right, yeah.
So I mean, the fact that we changed the calendar is not really something that is necessarily a fact from his birth.
And my point of view is if I can come up with, even if it's a conspiracy, if it's a conspiracy that is rooted in the natural world, that is still 100 times more likely than something that doesn't appear to be a conspiracy rooted in the supernatural world. So if I can come up with a conspiracy like, well, the Romans could have been the ones who originated the Jesus character in general, and since they were making calendar decisions, it's not hard to line those two things up. That's still 1,000,000 times more likely than actually a virgin birth and resurrection event being the key point for. Why are we talking about this? Sorry, guys.
You have hijacked the conversation.
Because you don't want hepatitis A or hepatitis B, HIV or HPV. That's what I do when I get nervous. I just sing my vaccine song.
That's not unlike what I used to do when I got nervous. I would just take out my laptop and start playing on emulators and just be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, well, I'm playing video games because you're all giving me anxiety.
You're all giving me anxiety. What's that, Mr. Scary Man? Oh, well, anxiety is something that will literally eat your heart out and cause you pain every single day because you don't understand what's going on. Man, that sure sounds like a lot of fun.
You know what that sounds like? Women.
Yeah. I thought she was talking about a stripper named Anxiety.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Anxiety.
She's just sitting there like scratching her arms like, does this turn you on?
Spraying cocaine in people's faces.
Would she get high on crocodile or something?
I'm sorry, I did. As soon as the relevant people from the argument left, I feel like I derailed this. I'm really sorry, guys. I do this.
Is this still an after show?
Yeah.
It technically is.
We haven't talked about my penis yet, so we haven't gone all the way crazy.
You do have a fixation. You do have a fixation on your penis a lot, don't you?
So does
the only one I've got.
I don't. Every man has a fixation on his penis. No, I don't have a fixation on his penis.
Yeah, I have a fixation on my penis. I look down and I go, where the fuck is it?
I just think my penis is like the only good penis, you know?
Every other penis is bad except the one that you're sucking at the time, right?
I'm going to, I'll just remake that.
I should have joined earlier, you know. I wanted to talk to King Crocoduck and Shannon.
You should have joined earlier.
Oh, cosmological, big timing us. Fuck you.
To be fair, Cosmo, before we even started, I gave you an invitation.
Yes,
said, would you like to join?
I was not available at that time.
And then
made yourself available.
We're very sorry that we had control over when Shannon and Duck went to bed.
I did my best.
I thought we were going to be friends. Now you're fucking friended.
Do you need some shoes, Cosmo?
To friended in 5 seconds.
Don't call me friended. Don't you dare.
That sounds like a terrible insult. I just want to point out that Cosmo currently does have his shoes, but that is subject to change depending on how he acts.
Wow.
Cosmo, come on screen, man. Let's see this face of yours. Actually, I think I know your face.
That is his face.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a video on my channel. That is his face.
I think I've seen him on a few channels, including his own. But now I'm wanting to put a name to the face I apparently hate. or a face of the name.
No.
You're invited to Sunday Mass, but you're gonna be like how Jamie was that one week, how AJ was. I'm just gonna shit on you the whole episode.
Well, I'm not showing up, so it's okay.
It's just like, your channel's beneath me, Mr. Atheist. I have over 1,000 subscribers, and I've only made 8/10 of my videos.
Yeah. You want to know what's really funny? Is that I'm sorry to rub salt in the wound, but Cirrus actually passed cosmological, so
Dun,
welcome,
dun,
welcome to a
At least
channel that
I'm
has
still
more
ahead of
subscribers.
I'm not
I'm still ahead of King and the Godless Island.
Flex that e-penis. Come on.
I haven't passed him yet. I'm about halfway to I'll get there. And then
You do
I'm gonna
realize
talk.
that King Crocoduck has like 70,000 fucking subs, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're all shit. Okay, so.
I mean, I had Logic on today. He has 110 almost.
Yeah.
Gotta say, Professor Stick also beats all of us too. He just passed 100,000 about a month and a half ago.
Nice. God, I want those subs.
See, you could buy subs.
see, what's sad? I got super happy because I looked at the description of his celebration video, and he linked me in his in the description there, and was like, "This is also another channel to go subscribe to." I'm like, "That's awesome," but he mentioned Cosmological and a few other channels by name, and I could just tell because in Cosmological's thing, his
Name Dragon and Rhetoric and Discourse.
yeah, I saw your subs like start going up, and then on mine I had 2 people that said that they came from the Stick God. And I'm just like, well, it was a shout out. I'm very happy about that. Those are 2 more subs than I would have had originally. But I can tell the difference between the vocal shout out and the description shout out based on this anecdotal information.
Shoutouts don't give you that much. They really don't.
After
No, they
doing Non Sequitur with Steve this last week and the collab with Holy Kool-Aid about Flat Earth, my fucking things took off. I was going from like 3 or so subs a day to, for a couple of days, a good 50 new subs.
That's what happened to me as well because I was part of that. I was like the second person on there, I think.
Yeah.
So I think I got about 300 subscribers from that collaboration alone.
Nice. Mine was
just a quick shoot.
I think I got about 150, but I'm like way later in the video, so all the stoners who came probably had already stopped watching.
They clicked off. Yeah, I was actually very like because I stare at my analytics and I'm like, okay, when are people dropping off? What is going here? So like when I saw that I was right after Cosmic Skeptic in the video, I'm like, well, I could expect some people from that.
I don't at all understand that idea of just watching things. It's not as though I have the Social Blade live count on my phone, just constantly watching my subs as they come in. I don't know.
You have achieved 1,000 subs. Yay!
I'm so excited for that. I think so the promise I made was if I hit 1,000 subs by the 14th, I'm going to go live in a man bun with eyeliner and one other item of the audience's choice. And at first I was like, it's not going to happen, but it'll help us get there. Now it's looking like I'm probably going to make it. It'll probably happen.
Logic actually put a shout out to me and the Great Debate community in his latest video in the video description because I don't think we're going to get a single bump of it. It doesn't translate well. It just doesn't. We don't get that many bumps off people.
I think it's on video stuff that helps the most, like when you're actually in the video with them. Because I definitely got some from coming on and debating that guy about morality being sourced from a god. I definitely got some from that other one I'm doing. And so I'm doing now. Cirrus and I are working on a collab. I've got a collab with Anti-Ordinary coming up. Godless Iowan and I are about to talk a collab. So I think they do help to actually see and present yourself. And would you fuck me?
Yeah, I can believe that.
I'd fuck me. And fuck me so hard.
You do it in the butt.
Doing it.
I'd fuck me hard.
You're all getting Ocean Keltroy so excited right now.
If you ever want to see your daughter again, put $700. What? 7,000. What? Put $700,000. Seriously? That's not a lot of money either.
Bitch ain't worth that much. Keep her.
Now, is that Australian or American dollars?
Oh yeah. The one with value.
Canadian dollars.
I said the one with value.
I think their cosmological dollars are the only dollars useful in outer space.
Fucking Canadian dollars.
Thanks, money.
Here, you can spend these in good faith.
Canadian dollars, the only dollars that you might have to apologize after accepting for.
Australian dollars. Yeah, these only work down by the shore.
That wasn't too bad.
Take them right down to the beach. The other day.
Apparently, Ocean is asking how he was mentioned, Steve.
Not gonna tell him. He's not gonna watch the motherfucking video. What the hell he thinks this is?
He has to go suffer as we did?
Yeah, exactly.
I got my first patron today. I'm making a good
Oh,
$4 a month.
That is awesome.
Nice, making bank, mate.
Oh yeah.
You can
Oh
officially,
yeah.
You can
Well, it's in
afford a
Australian
cheeseburger.
dollars.
So you'd know if it was me because it'd be 420.
There you go.
Just because the patron pledges have to work out that way.
What is?
Yeah.
Do I officially live in
Ask
the weed
GMS.
capital of the world? Has this become the weed capital? When you hear weed and you want to associate it with one city, what city does everyone think of?
Colombia.
Colombia. Okay, I thought that was cocaine, but whatever.
No,
Why
that's
do-
Colombia, Mexico. There's a distinct difference.
I've never heard of the marijuana Colombia capital. I'm in Denver. I thought that was pretty much the place now, but I don't smoke. Not anymore.
Ever since he stopped Mormonism, he stopped smoking the collab lettuce.
No. I started after the Mormonism, but
Hey, that's a gateway to coffee.
Oh man, don't get me started on coffee. Oh my god.
So the funny thing that happened with me is I left Mormonism, got to start drinking alcohol, got to start drinking coffee, but then it turns out I have this liver condition, and now I can't have caffeine or alcohol.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so you have genetic Mormonism.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, you would be a perfect Mormon.
Why didn't somebody vaccinate for this?
But you see, I am an anti-vaxxer, and I need to tell you about vitamin B17 and also herd immunity.
You know what my rebuttal is going to be, right?
Yes, I do. Go ahead and do it anyway.
Because you don't want hepatitis A or hepatitis B, HIV or HPV, measles, mumps, and I'm not actually on key at all. Measles, mumps, and
Not even close.
pneumococcal rotavirus. I couldn't hear it first with my monitors. Shingles, tetanus, whooping cough, just one shot. That's also not a comfortable angle to play the piano at. And there goes my monitor.
It didn't look comfortable at all.
Just one shot will fight them off. Chicken pox and diphtheria. You know what was fun is the reason I wrote that song was only because I looked up a list because I was going to put it on the screen. It was like, these are all the things we vaccinated about. And then I looked at the list and I was like, why does everything rhyme? And so then I was like, oh.
So I just want to point something out. Mr. Atheist, your mic looks very suspiciously familiar. Man, I have no idea how that happened.
It fits in real good.
To be fair, this is what Godless Cranium calls my silver penis.
This is what I perform my auditory colonoscopies with.
So you've got two pop filters on there?
Yeah, so these pop filters are better for one type of pop, and these are better for another, but also I like the way it makes me look.
It does.
It looks really good having both on there. I'm not gonna lie.
I guarantee it.
I might actually have to get another pop filter now.
I have a black one over. Yeah, these are cheap too. I have a black one over the way, but I'm not sure I'm ready to handle the girth.
You got to work yourself up to it.
I really do.
Actually, I think that if you use Vaseline, you'll be fine.
Didn't Eric tell you how to like prep yourself and work your way up, and you build up to the bigger sizes?
Yeah, but that was, I mean, he was doing it very pragmatically. He was laying behind me, whispering it into my ear, just trying to get me to commit all at once.
See, I just tell him start with the biggest size because you can always work your way down.
Yeah,
I just say turn your head and cough.
You won't die, but meanwhile, now it's the sad part is after that experience, my farts don't make a noise anymore.
See, what's terrible is that I don't think I've had one stream on this channel that has not devolved into absolute insanity and madness. But
I'm sorry.
That one stream was my first stream, and since then, there's almost been a correlation. Godless Iowan comes in the stream, and then madness happens. But now I think it's Godless Iowan or Mr. Atheist comes in the stream, and then madness happens.
Got to figure it out.
I just wrote a song about my penis. I'm just kind of. I got nothing.
Okay, Mr. Atheist.
Yeah.
All right. So you're an ex-Mormon.
Yeah.
What would you say is a good thing if I'm having a conversation with a Mormon? What should I say? What should I bring up?
Okay, so the honest answer is not okay. I don't know. I was about to lie after saying the honest answer. You should go. There's this great series called "What's Wrong with Mormonism" on YouTube, and pull it up for them on your phone, and then they can respond to it's my series. So honestly, the thing I would do, Mormons, I think, taking the street epistemology way is going to be really effective because Mormons so eagerly will talk about their religion. So actually, I have a show for the atheist community of Austin separate from my own channel called The Atheist Interviews. And we just did our first interview with Anthony Magnabosco, and we were just talking about this. So if you are the one directing the conversation, direct the conversation to faith and why their faith is an effective means of obtaining truth, the way you would with any person if you want to get them thoughtful. If they're making specific claims, like they are missionaries trying to convert you, the thing is, I want to give you basically my 20-minute episode about the first vision and the origins of the Book of Mormon, but rather I will say, after the stream, go watch my episode about the first vision in the Book of Mormon.
Okay, yeah. I've watched some Brother Jake. I don't know if you've heard of him.
He's a hack. But, no, I'm kidding. He's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. He's So I watched a lot of his videos, which I found pretty informative. But yeah, no, I've been having a conversation with a Mormon friend, and he is. It's been interesting, but he when I bring up truth, what he's done is he's gone all Jordan Peterson with the word truth.
Listen to me.
What do you think is? Do you think he'd be open to coming on the air with me and having a conversation about his Mormonism? I won't be mean.
I don't think so.
Well, what's he hiding? I'm just kidding. Whatever. Yeah, I so badly want this to happen. The hard part is Mormons are so. In my most recent episode about Mormonism, it's all about childhood indoctrination, and I talk about how I talk about how we are programmed from very young age as Mormons to be really good and really quick with apologetics. And so the hard part is it's difficult to give you one set of advice and go, do this one, because that'll be the haymaker. I mean, everyone would have thought outside the church that the moment that it became revealed that Joseph Smith was sexually active with his 14-year-old wife and coerced her into marrying her under threat of eternal damnation, but promised her family exaltation if she did marry him, and this is while he's in his 30s, that's been proven now, did nothing to the church. The fact that the South Park episode, while not perfect, was more historically accurate to the actual original claim of the translation of the Book of Mormon, that he literally had a magic stone and shoved his face in the hat. Yep. Growing up, I was refuting that all the time, and it turned out I was wrong, and the church has now acknowledged it. That is the way he claimed he was translating the Book of Mormon, with the magic stone.
Well, the claim against that, though, was actually that people, because I was experiencing the apologetics as well, but the people were saying there was the Urim and Thummim, right?
Right. And
the breastplate and the onyx stones and the things in the actual breastplate. These are real things that are actually in the Bible, and so when you're doing, talking to a Mormon like that, and you mention the Urim and Thummim, there is a such thing. And so when you're saying, I've actually people say, well, there's no such thing. They made up the terms Urim and Thummim. I'm like, no, these are actually actual real stones that did exist.
Well, that's not.
Yeah,
I don't.
In the story,
I'm trying to come down to the middle, because so now the official story from the church is the Urim and Thummim were used for the original 116 pages. Right. When they were taken away, they were brought back, but he was not allowed to use those to translate anymore. And the new method was the stone that he had found.
I'm not talking about the Joseph Smith, though. I'm talking about in Jewish history.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
The high priest wore a breastplate for divination, and on that was the Urim and Thummim, right? So there is a reason why the LDS talk about those things. And so when an anti-apologist, I guess, comes up and says things to a Mormon like, "Oh, there's no such thing as Urim and Thummim," what do you think the Mormon's going to do? But like, well, hey, there is such a thing in the Hebrew Bible. So
there's an extreme amount of intellectual energy put in within Mormonism to do their best to make everything crazy about their religion have historical precedence.
Right.
And that's, I mean, that could sum up 70% of their apologetics. And by the way, the Masonic ritual that they're performing in the temple, they now will, it's about half and half. Some of them won't make this claim, but a lot of them will make the claim that that was the ritual performed in Solomon's temple as well. This thing that was fucking invented by fucking stone cutters, stone traders rather, a few hundred years ago. Illuminati confirmed.
I don't know enough about Mormonism except for the very basal version of the Joseph Smith story. So I can't really add a lot to the conversation. This is actually new information to me.
I was trying to find the picture I had made, the caricature of the breastplate and spectacles, because I thought it would give Steve a kick if he didn't. If you haven't, just go watch my First Vision episode if you haven't already, Steve. I genuinely stand by that my telling of the First Vision is the very best one in existence. It includes.
Well, well, go ahead. What included? Yeah, because the first one was quite different. It was a voice at first. You didn't even see the Father and the Son, right?
Yeah. So the First Vision I present is the one that you are currently raised with in the version told, and then I talk about how. By the way, it's now been revealed, and they acknowledge via the CES letters and all these other things that there are multiple accounts. In several accounts, it wasn't even God or Jesus. In some accounts, they're the same person. Joseph Smith has an evolving or a varying view throughout his life on whether God and Jesus are separate people, to the point that he mended the Bible to say that they are the same, but he doesn't tell anyone unless you're special. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy shit out of there. But my telling of the First Vision included Dementors, so I just think it's really good.
I think any telling of a story that has the book version of the Dementors is great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any telling that has the movie version where they actually pull down the hood and you can see that's silly.
I thought they pulled down the hood in the book.
They pull down the hood. They pull down the hood, but see, there's a difference between the vision of horror you could possibly get in your head.
Oh yeah, and the naked mole rat with fused eyes shut.
Yes, there's a huge difference between what some director's idea of what's going to be terrifying to you and your idea of what's going to be terrifying to you. I think that's one of the reasons why like early versions of things like Cthulhu worked so well in literature.
Cthulhu.
But I think a lot of that worked really well in literature because they said they gave descriptions that were saying, and tropic horrors and stuff like that, and your brain just kind of builds a picture in your mind of what that should be, and it can be terrifying that way because they're vague enough where you don't know what they're talking about, but they're descriptive enough where you can build the image.
I will be on every Harry Potter collab themed live stream that anyone ever invites me on. Cosmological, I'm sorry if the answer to your question was, here's the answer. I'll make it way more fucking complicated.
No, it was fine. It was great.
All right. Glad you had a good time.
I like pie. That's mine.
What flavor? What flavor pie? Pie flavor?
Yeah.
No, actually, can we talk about this? Fuck you, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas just said Harry Potter sucks in the live chat.
Dr. Zayas.
Dr.
Zayas.
Fuck you, Dr. Zayas. Like and subscribe.
I'm sorry. I do have to say that anybody who says that Harry Potter is shit, one, needs to understand that things are subjective. Two, needs to shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. Like and subscribe.
Speaking of that, serious, I have other theists jumping on the bandwagon on Twitter, and I've noticed something that's ubiquitous among all of them. All of them are trying to take the topic into some other fucking rabbit hole, not even remotely dealing with the question being asked. Why is that ubiquitous among every goddamn motherfucking theist that I run across lately?
Have you noticed that since we made the 15 questions on Non Sequitur show, that we've been seeing that a lot?
Yes!
Where the answer to any question is, actually, see, the answer to your question's down this path, and let's take the scenic route down this way and forget about the path.
Dude, okay, look, I understand there's a lot of times you can't answer just yes or no. I do get that, right?
You could say, I don't know. That's called honesty.
But there are times where you can answer the question directly, yes, but with a caveat, or yes, but let me explain more in detail. That's fine. I like those kind of answers. But when people say, well, I can't answer yes or no, you're just trying to bullshit me at that point, right? So when I ask the question, and it's a very fucking easy question, simple, anybody can go look this up in the live chat. Go look this up. Tell me what you find. Be independent little researchers. Divine command theory. Does it fall under ethical subjectivism or does it fall under ethical objectivism? That's a straightforward motherfucking question. Is one the other, right?
And it takes a quick Google search.
Somebody can even actually argue both or neither if they want to. So it's actually more than that. But
my suspicion is the people who won't answer are those who actually don't understand the question, but want to act as though there's an intellectual depth to them that prevent them from answering the question, as opposed to an intellectual shallowness that prevents them from being able to answer the question.
Exactly. And I'll make it simpler. Make it very much simpler. Does divine command theory fall under ethical subjectivism? That's a yes or no question. That's simple as can be, right? Either it does or it doesn't. There is no other options.
Do you want me to role play the theist?
Sure. I like when you role play.
Give me a second.
This is our fun night. Okay, I have a. Wait, you know
Ooh,
what?
are we role playing now?
Wait, before we role play, can I go get my beer?
Yeah, for sure.
I got my popcorn.
I gotta loosen up.
This is gonna be fun.
Let me get these farts out.
I almost want to go gay for Mr. Atheist.
Oh man.
Almost.
What did I say before the stream started? How much sexual tension do I have with all these male YouTubers?
You have no sexual tension with me yet.
It's extreme. Yeah. I mean, Kyle and Steve are definitely like my peaks.
I love how Will Smith has joined the chat. Thanks, Will Smith.
Hey, well.
Okay. My Will Smith impression.
I think we're gonna have another role player in here in just a second as well.
Okay.
Who's Will Smith?
Oh boy, who's coming?
Who's Will Smith? He's an actor. He's an actor. Good one too.
No, I meant who's got the
Who's
thing
real Smith? Who's
Gotcha.
Steve is getting ready.
Steve turned on his camera, made sure that everything was looking good.
Go ahead, put
Bring
that
the
on.
beer.
Ginger beer.
I think I've already thought up the exact way. I bet I can predict. And if you haven't done it, if you've only done this once or twice, I'd love for you to ask this question 10 more times. I'll bet you at least 3 of the people will say exactly what I say.
Okay, well, has anybody in the live chat answered yet?
Yeah.
I think somebody would like to answer, but he's going to be coming in just a second.
Kala says, yes, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
I'll ask Ocean. Ocean Caltoy's smart. He's in there.
Well, here, pose
actually,
it to me.
Ocean's going to be here in just a second to role play with us.
Oh, I like when he role plays too. This motherfucker's good. Have you guys ever had ginger beer?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I was literally just drinking that, and you're drinking Bundaberg ginger beer. You're my brother.
Australian, yeah, it's Bundaberg. Oh my god, this is
that
fucking
is
amazing.
brewed literally like 2 hours away from me.
Now, did you already know that you gotta plug it up, and you do need to do a slow upside down and back up because there's a lot of sediment at the bottom that you want it to mix in.
Okay.
You shake it up before you open it.
It's got like a slightly lemony, like a citrusy little hit.
Is there alcohol in this?
No. Cock and Bowl is my other favorite.
Damn, too bad. This is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. I'm just amazed. I literally was drinking the same stuff. I'm going to get myself another one now. So.
I am a Southern American, so I'm drinking sweet tea.
I'm on a diet, so
this
I
had alcohol.
water
It's so good
at the moment. But
Dr. Pepper.
What could you add? What could you put in this to add alcohol to it?
Vodka. You can make yourself fuck. What are those things called? You add vodka and lime juice and a mint leaf, and you have a Moscow Mule.
A Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
This is fucking delicious. I'm never had it before, so I'm going to try it.
Shannon can't sleep apparently.
Oh,
Jesus, this is still happening.
Jesus, this is still happening. How long have we even been on air? We've only been on air for an hour and 20 minutes. Most of my stuff runs a little longer than that. We're fine.
And I know, Shannon, you're probably thinking, yeah, but Mr. Atheist there, so it probably completely derailed. And I'll have you know that is apt.
It's very accurate.
Absolutely what happened.
You godless Iowaned my stream.
Yeah, she was bitching me that we didn't sleep. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning for her time. Hi, Ocean Caltoy.
Yo.
Divine command theory, is that ethical subjectivism? Yes or no?
I don't think it would be.
You suck. Are you playing the part of the theist, or are you actually answering that in that way?
Why would it be ethical subjectivism?
Because it's ethical subjectivism is dependent upon the mind of a person or a deity. Ethical objectivism does not depend on the mind or a deity. That's the definitions.
Oh, if you're saying or a deity, then.
Yeah. Ethical subjectivism is a society, mind, or deity, it says. And if you look at any ethical subject.
That depends on which horn you're taking from the.
No, it doesn't.
Well, yeah, no, that it would be. It is one of the horns then. Yeah, then it would be ethical subjectivism.
No. It is still objective morality to us because God commands it. So if you take the horn of the Euthyphro dilemma, it's still the same thing. It has nothing to do with the divine command theory itself being ethical subjectivism because it's contingent upon the mind of God, even though He decides what is moral for us.
Yeah, it would be if it's contingent on the mind of God, then
ethical subjectivism.
DCT would be ethical subjectivism.
Okay. This is how we agree. See.
For something to be objective, it would have to come from a source outside of the actual subject that's making the claim. And so for a truth and a morality to be objective, it would have to come from a higher power that has an understanding that's better than us. And when it does, that would make the truth objective.
Shut up, Heather.
That's the
yes.
role play response.
I would say that's, I mean, if he throws in a deity and says that if it depends on the mind of a deity, then fine. It winds up just... you bite the bullet on divine command theory.
The thing I was
thinking people that follow divine command theory would agree with that. Now, whether or not Christianity is ethical subjectivism is a different question, which you would get.
Different question.
Yeah,
well,
but divine command theory would be.
Ideal observer theory is also under ethical subjectivism, even though there's not a real person there. It's an idealistic observer.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hurt me.
Ooh, you know, baby.
What really sucked is that like when I saw that conversation happening on the Friended stream, I was like, I'm gonna go look these up, and then Steve was just like, "Sirs, look these up before our stream." I'm like, okay, god damn it, Dad.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about certain theists that they throw all fucking reason all to hell. And I'm not against theism, right? As certain ones like Eve or something. She is supposed to be an educated person, yet she has so much crap on her Twitter feed. She's known for being wrong. Why would you be on Twitter to be known for being wrong when you have a PhD? Is that what you want to be known for?
Steve, I got to get you, if you're not already in Logic's Discord, there's this girl in there called Amber.
I helped start a Discord with him. Kind of.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
We were both there on
Amber
day one.
and have her discussion about how there are no real atheists except for her because all atheists have a faith-based truth claim in relation to the experience, the experience of qualia.
What is her?
It'd be a lot of fun. I think she's in there just as Amber.
Is that not accurate?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's actually what I'm kind of thinking about that. I'm like, that's really not that strange of a thing to say. But why does she think she's the only one that holds a position? We all have qualia. We all we're sentient beings.
So no. Hers is that there is a faith claim on qualia that essentially is that qualia. We all have a. First of all, most atheists don't have any claim on qualia because it's nothing they've ever considered. But that the faith claim itself is that qualia happen independent and are different from person to person, where she, without proving her point, has
is she a solipsist?
Effectively decided that all qualia
happens
happens simultaneously, and it's all the same individual experience.
Yes,
that sounds incredibly solipsistic to me.
That's what I'm thinking too.
You should go have the conversation with her. She just makes stuff up as she goes.
I think that a lot of atheists in this conversation, in the great debate community in general, just haven't even considered qualia or even know what it is in the first place.
No.
I don't know, because Dan Dennett's a pretty popular author, so I agree that most haven't, but I wouldn't say it's uncommon for atheists to know what qualia is.
We're going to have him on eventually, and he wrote a lot about that particular topic.
That'd be amazing. That's one of the horsemen, man.
Well, I see every so often atheists will hear something they're not familiar with or something that just doesn't resonate with them, and instead of actually trying to ascertain what it actually means or the topic or the argument, there's an instant, knee-jerk reaction. And of course we say
go into skeptic mode.
I think the knee-jerk reaction is like, oh my god, that's word salad or anything like that, and that stuff really bothers me.
I think Shannon, right? Didn't kind of like coin the term qualia of some kind.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think he invented the word, but I think
because Thomism has qualia. But I mean, there were some things that he invented with it. I was just reading up on him the other day, matter of fact, on this, but I forgot what it.
So I think it's called. I think she's called Amber, but the impression I get from her is what I get from Friended, which is the only thing she is interested in is being the only person who is correct about issues, and being in the most exclusive club of those who are right, than whether or not her points actually bear out.
We see that a lot.
That's really unfortunate.
Oh, you mentioned the word deepity. Deepity. Yeah, the deepity do like a weird phrase, like love is just a word. He called it a deepity.
Deepity. Would a deepity describe what we did in bed last night, Steve?
Oh, lots of deepities. Real deep.
He went real deepity. Very deep.
By the way, you do know that you're going to get Mr. Atheist jealous if you talk like that, right?
I was just trying to put the word thing together in my head. It's like, first he went deep, and I was like, ee! And then we had tea. Okay, I'm out. Bye, everyone.
Sorry, bad word games are what make me laugh. In fact, actually, most of my conversations with Pam before we actually got together were exclusively puns.
I hated it.
You didn't hate it at the time. You just hate puns now.
Yeah, because I've lived with you for 2 years.
I did a pun on my show today. So we
I love how he was just like, I'm sorry.
We had this inside joke with Logic where Kyle came on, and Kyle was the last one in. So I was like, so just so you know, his real name is Clarence, and that wasn't true. And so anyway,
it's also Martin Bjorn.
Later, he said he might change it to now the new name, which is, as I was trying to say that later in the stream, or right before we started, I accidentally said Clorence. And then the pun I made was, if you mix him with sodium, you get table salt.
Wait, did he call himself Bjorn?
He's had his Facebook name at one point was Martin Bjorn.
Well, do you mean Bjorn or Bjorn? Like, do you know how he pronounced it?
I don't know how I think he pronounced it Bjorn when we actually had our conversation in Discord.
That's really funny.
He's Canadian, so he didn't pronounce it right.
It's pronounced Bjorn.
He didn't pronounce it root. He didn't pronounce it root. So, Cosmological, how's your day going floating off in space?
Sorry, did anyone else feel that?
I don't think you can really label units of time in space as days.
Oh, I think I can. Can you see the sun?
Sometimes.
But can you see it right now?
Sure, why not?
Then it's daytime. There you go.
Wait, that doesn't make sense, because I could go outside and turn around. That doesn't make it nighttime. That's how you fool birds. You put a sheet over their cage.
No, I think that's how you fool flat earthers, actually.
Under this,
how do you know that Cosmological is not a bird?
Exactly.
I'm slightly convinced he's an actual astronaut.
Or a flat earther bird.
His audio quality sounds like it's coming straight from the ISS.
Cosmo, did you ever notice that in our collaboration, on the last few frames, I actually added in your audio where you were like, I hope my audio's
Yes,
okay.
I did. I watched that to the end. Yes.
He's super offended, though.
I was expecting during that him just to be like, God damn it, Cirrus, why did you add that in? That wasn't supposed to be in the video.
Another freaking...
Well, it wasn't, but, thought it was kind of funny, so no big deal.
Another freaking atheist made my favorite Simpsons reference. That'll be a paddling. That's a paddling. No one else. Okay, never mind. Sorry again. Bye.
and then I almost called you another freaking atheist. You're not Dawn.
Thank God.
All these atheists start getting like all the same to you anymore, isn't it, Cirrus?
Yeah.
One atheist fit them all.
Yeah, I'm actually still like a little upset that I took the name Cirrus the Skeptic like when I was like just coming into the community. I kind of wish that I just kept it at Cirrus, but I fucking have it now, so whatever.
You know what? I started with Steve the cocksucker, but you know what? I quickly moved away from that and changed my thing. So luckily my dad forgot.
Haven't you guys known about Cirrus's new name? It's called Cirrus
the Shit Squirrel.
Cirrus the Shit Squirrel.
We were on.
That needs to be your YouTube username as soon as fucking possible.
Do it.
I think after my last video, a bunch of my subscribers actually think that I am a shit squirrel because that was the most negative reaction I've had to a video yet. But
We
I
need to
can't
make
think
an
of
emoji
that.
for this immediately. There needs to be a shit squirrel emoji.
Are you well? You should put it. You should put a shit squirrel emoji in my Discord then.
We're gonna build one. I don't
We're
know.
gonna build it.
We'll see we'll see what we can do over here.
Now, is this going to be a squirrel covered in shit, or is this going to be a squirrel that is in the process of
I was
defecating?
thinking that it would be a little bit of poop with a squirrel tail and eyeballs
Ah, that is perfect.
I would agree.
and whiskers.
Hi, Bionic Dance. We're friends.
And
on
leg
Facebook
stumps.
now. It's exciting.
I think that Cosmological's right. The squirrel has to have leg stumps. Because if it doesn't have leg stumps, then apparently people aren't going to be able to recognize that it's me. Although Mr. Logic did make me sandals, and every once in a while I do put sandals on my avatar, and I think it looks a little more normal then.
Who is Mr. Logic?
Yeah,
Does he have a channel?
The sandals fix the problem.
Yeah, Mr. Logic is he's an ex-Muslim atheist YouTuber.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I've got an interview with him on my channel actually. If you want to go check that
I'll
out.
check it out. I mean, the marketing writes itself. Well, I don't know why we haven't collabed. Mr. Logic, Mr. Atheist. If we could throw Mr. Deity on that mix, oh boy! Also, thank you, Zondraxer, who just became my second patron ever.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just rolling in. That's gonna pay for my VMix subscription.
Ironically, so we went to get groceries today, and originally the plan was for me to pull my Patreon fund for us to go get groceries. But as it turns out, I'm a fucking dumbass, and I forgot to set a payment method on Patreon. So when I went to go pull, I was like, "Oh shit! I need to change my payment method so we can actually like go to my bank account." I hit the button. Your account is now locked for 5 days. Patreon sets your thing.
Yeah, they do the 5-day to make sure you're not a fraudulent.
Make sure you're not a bot. Yeah. And
or a
I was
sex
like,
trafficker.
nope, that's unfortunate. We do have the credit card. I guess that means we can still eat.
I'm a very recent fan of.
I don't know why no one supports my Patreon.
Is it perhaps because you don't upload?
Yeah, that or I don't have a Patreon.
Logic
would
has
make it
talked me
fun.
into finally launching mine because I'm getting close to that point where the amount of work I'm putting in, like the thing people I think know me for the most is the production quality of my show.
Yes.
Despite being so low on subs, that takes a shit ton of time and money. And so right now, that's the whole reason I even launched my Patreon finally was because I'm running out of that time to get there. Bionic Dan says Patreon doesn't release the dough until the 5th anyway, but does that include when you're paying per project and not per month, Bionic Dance?
It accumulates it all and then sends it out on the 5th.
Yeah.
I see.
And I'm telling you, do a lot more soft porn, and those numbers go up.
Yeah. I plan on
It
it.
really does, yeah.
I plan on it. Yeah.
You get some like chipmunks involved or some squirrels. People love that.
Or shit squirrels.
So for a living,
Cat squirrels.
I'm a professional photographer and digital artist. And so my thought process is like from now on, when I hire models for like a commercial project or something, I'm like, and for your last 5 minutes, I'm going to need you to help me shoot some thumbnails for my channel.
That is perfect.
Go for it. Do that.
Like seriously,
Why not?
like, if they're already there, you might as well go ahead and do it because if you've already got the equipment and you've already got the know-how, you just have the body.
I've made a bunch of like cosplayer fantasy images and stuff, and they'd be a lot of fun to work with too. I'm a very recent fan of Bionic Dance. Shannon sent me to her page. At some point, I have to go.
So's Ocean. Ocean loves Bionic Dance.
Bionic Dance, please
definitely
come on
Bionic
Sunday,
Dance's biggest fan.
Biggest fan. Yeah.
She's wonderful.
I was definitely not in the middle of blood sports between you two at all. That did not happen, and I did not sit there with a control muting each of you as you unmuted yourselves.
Did you feel the
the blood source?
To continue yelling at each
Did
other.
you feel the sexual tension between them? It was just palatable.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second, but then I heard sexual tension, so I assume you guys are talking about me and some other male.
No, not this time. Nope.
It's not me this time.
Not you this time. Not you this time.
I thought I have the monopoly on all the YouTube sexual tension between males.
No. Unfortunately, you don't. Kyle has some of it still.
Honestly,
Kyle
Steve
got
McRae and myself have sexual tension between our beards.
For years.
That's what's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
cool. Hey, I'm gonna go clear out my closet so I can go fuck myself. What about mine?
You call that a beard? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, that's
That's cute.
I want you to look at your beard look at Steve's beard, and then look at my beard.
And I had a full one too, but I shaved it.
Yeah, I don't go.
Steve
lengthy.
was starting to look like a homeless musician for a while.
Yeah,
there.
it didn't work for me. I like this better, don't you?
Why is my phone trying to play Sunday Mass by itself without me telling you?
Serious, my love, isn't this better than the full beard?
It is better than the full beard. I like you more when you don't look like you live out of a box.
Hey now, Steve, check your fucking privileges. You said you guys were just fuck buddies.
Oh yeah, no, the feelings are starting to come in. Sorry.
Wait a minute. I thought you and Ocean were fuck buddies.
Everyone's a fuck buddy with you guys.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I am getting jealous. Steve, I thought I was fucking special. I was
You're not fucking special. You're fucking Steve.
I was about to. That's funny. I was about to suggest we invite Bionic Dance to join if she'd like to, but I feel like where this conversation has gone, she'd be like, "Oh, I actually have to go to sleep right now."
She would say this conversation's just gotten a little too male for me.
There's a lot of toxic masculinity in the chat, especially from Raziel.
Your camera is bothering me.
My camera's bothering you?
Triggered.
Oh lordy. Is that better now? Is that better now that people can see my man tits?
Boobies.
You don't understand.
You fix it.
More boobies.
So fix it with zooming, not framing, because I'm not going to frame the same way because you guys don't want to know what's going on. I'm pretty handsome from the sternum up. And then the whole thing just falls apart. I also light against my part so that the my receding hairline falls into shadow.
I need to actually get my. I have my studio light over there. I just haven't turned it on because the last time I had it on was when our AC wasn't working. So I felt like I was baking under the studio light for a 3.5 hour long stream with Steve and Jim.
I think Bionic Dance just suggested they would be down to come in. Am I allowed to suggest inviting people? Did I cross the line here?
Hell no! Shut the fuck up!
She just said she thrives on conflict.
Yeah.
Her and Ocean, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've already given up on any real arguments.
Hi, Zendrax.
Kate, I love Kate. I think she has a great channel, and whatever her thing. I don't want to have those kind of conversations with Kate any longer. I like to have elevated ones and using the words I like to use in proper formats. If she wants to use her own terminology, that's fine. I'm just not interested in those conversations. That's
Who
it.
are we talking about?
Kate.
Which one's Kate?
Bionic Dance.
She likes using her own words and then saying, "Well, how do I convert that into philosophically speak?" And I'm like, "Well, just use philosophical words." I don't have the mental prowess to translate what she's trying to do any longer.
Hi, baby.
We're just talking about dicks and stuff, though.
You can just do what I did, Steve.
What's that?
Just scream.
I don't think we need to devolve into the blood sport screaming. I think we can be all happy talking about. Well, I say we can all be happy talking about penises, but I know that's again a little more of a male conversation for Kate. She's not very interested in the penises, so I don't think that's going to be very
came
well.
in right after I shouted you out.
You talking about VJs or JJs or
VJs? VJJs? Are those the words we're using? VJJs?
Whatever you want to call them.
As a joke, Logic said, "I'll be
Vaginas?
on, but no penis references," so I called them Willy Dillies all episode.
Are you coming over here?
I must present
Hashtag
myself
butt
to the
stuff.
world, and you have the only webcam in the house.
Oh, okay, fair
My
enough.
son. Mwah. Look at him.
I insist on loving you both, Kate and Steve. Sorry that I said Kate, who
Look at my
I know
son.
you more as Bionic
He's my
Dance.
good son.
I think Pam is trying to derail the conversation away from penises.
I'm surrounded by sons and daughters. Come here, son. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see her. Come up here. Good. All right, lift yourself. You can't really.
It's a doggo.
This is Samantha. This is my German.
Oh, look at that bitch.
It's now a pet
It is now okay. Hello, Ilea. Bye-bye, Ilea.
Animal time.
And then I've got a corgi on the floor and a gray cat around here somewhere.
We have a bunch of cats. Okay, you know Nymphia does not want to be held. You know that.
Damn, Sammy, you smell.
She doesn't like being held, though. You know
She
this.
must be presented to the world.
She's the one cat we have that has anxiety, so she doesn't like being held at all.
She didn't seem to be tripping out too much.
Well, no, the thing is that as if she's held for too long, or she used to be a lot worse, she would actually try to physically back up, even if it would damage her. Like, she would just try to back up. Hello, Gigi. How are you? Welcome to my shoulder.
Aww.
There we go. That is all 4 cats have been presented. This one is actually a dog.
Yeah.
I only have
He's
one
just a
cat.
dog.
He's literally. We can actually play fetch with him. Okay. The cats have been presented in the stream as is required for all things, and it seems that the live chat has officially devolved into the original Bloodsports issue from several days prior. So I'm going.
I'm not interested. She's just doing her thing. I've already made my case. She can have her discussions and she can use a dictionary and do her little colloquial things. That's fine. I'm not interested in those discussions. I don't know why that's so complicated.
But can't we just talk about penises?
Sure.
I think
I pretty much hold the same
I
position.
thought we were here to talk about
Yeah,
the friended
and
life.
you're not the only one. I've got a lot of messages that are
Have we
saying
long since abandoned that?
well, most people are at the point where, look at it. If we want to have a higher conversation, we're going to have a higher conversation. There's no reason to use whatever lexicon she wants to use. You know, it doesn't make any sense to.
I just love you both so much.
You want to suck my dick?
I can't go.
I will
That's
say
pretty
this.
close.
I will say this. At least none of you are responsible for what happened on Godless Iowan stream,
That was awesome.
where the hammer officially broke.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, the hammer's broken.
It is broken. Granted, it's not like
He
it's going to be
swung
hard
it
to
just a
fix.
little too hard.
I really did. In fact, actually, I think the first time that it bent was because I hit myself for something on a stream, or
No. It was bent because you literally sat down on the couch doing that clip for that video and you just fucking rammed the hammer into your head over and over and over.
oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't a stream. It was for the freaking urine therapy video where I sat there with the hammer and just like bashed my head repeatedly because that's honestly
That's a
how
hand
I
motion.
felt.
Somebody clip that hand motion.
Somebody please clip this. Secular, if you're watching, you're the god of this.
I had a good time on the Goddess Iowa's channel, and I talked to God Is Not Good, and we had a great time. He was very
Oh, that was a good discussion.
yeah, and I mentioned Ocean, and he has to go watch it.
But like,
And I-
what's your favorite channel to appear on?
Mr. Atheist.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
He's already
Steve,
here.
you'll have to link me to what you're talking about.
Fine.
Talking
Actually,
about the
Sirius is already way ahead of you. I can tell. I can see the light in his eye.
Trying to say the friended forever thing.
Because
this is
you
the friended
said
forever stream.
No. The conversation I had with God Is Not Good, where what I said was I already knew going into the conversation that I was going to be switching between an internalist and externalist position, and I know Ocean gets triggered by that. So I said, if Ocean Kelter watches this,
I do get triggered by that.
Yeah, and that's why I said, Ocean, before you get triggered on this, I'm already aware that I'm going to be going from internalist to externalist. So
Right, no, it's what I get triggered on is when people hop back and forth in the same conversation without denoting. About it.
I will go ahead and say that the second link, Ocean, has a trigger warning. There you go.
You know, when you put
What?
Ocean into the YouTube search bar or into the Google search bar instead of the YouTube search bar, ironically, you get no results that are helpful at all.
It's almost like there are multiple oceans or something.
Unless you want to learn about the actual ocean.
I'm just glad you didn't point out that I just used ironically very poorly.
Ironically, yes.
Yeah.
Irony is a word that people seem to get wrong.
Which is funny because actual irony might be the thing that brings me the most joy in the world. I should be better with that word.
Isn't it ironic?
No.
I'm going to send this to you, Steve, just so that I have it.
Sorry.
So, Steve,
Straight
I'm
to-
actually going to
Do you know-
linking you to what you're talking about.
Awesome. Oh, you got the same mic they've got.
Is your channel
Yeah,
called
we've-
Ocean?
Like,
It's Ocean Tall Toy.
Do we all have silver Yetis?
Sorry, one more time. Ocean what?
Got a black.
I do not. I have.
I'll type it in the side chat.
Okay.
How do you
Oh,
not
I
know
can-
Ocean? Really?
I've never bumped into Mr. Atheist before either. So
oh wow.
Yeah. I keep meeting new people. I'm really new
apparently
on.
we're both in a similar industry though. You do photography.
Mm-hmm.
What's coast?
I'm in Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you?
I was in
Cannon?
Denver a little bit. No, I'm Atlanta.
And that's where the similarities stop.
Canon
Oh,
or
yeah.
Nikon?
Red.
Sony?
I do no, red. I do video.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As it's
Red or Alexa, or Ari. I mean,
I was gonna say that reminds me, Ocean. We actually still need to do our Waffle House hangout at some point.
we do. I was just telling some passerbys that were coming into New York about the magic of Waffle House, and that people outside of the Southeast have no fucking clue
I've been at Waffle House.
what the
As they
beauty of
said,
Waffle House is.
if you're
There's
in
Waffle
Georgia-
House here, dude.
If you're in Georgia and you die, you don't actually go to an afterlife. You just respawn at the last Waffle House you visited.
So not
Right.
only is there Waffle House here, but I actually used to live only about 2 hours from Atlanta, and then I lived in middle of Florida and Slidell, Louisiana.
You remind me of a Florida personality. Did you live in Florida for a long time?
Fuck you. No. only like a few
Dude, no.
years.
I'm just talking of like I did. They're in music as well, because you remind me of the people that I know in Florida that are involved in music. So
I lived
it's like
in
a certain sort of like personality and sense of humor that you exhibit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Atheist. I grew up for 18 years in Florida, so I feel your pain.
My father's a New Yorker and my mother's a Brit, so I've always said that my sense of humor is the sarcasm from a New Yorker and the dry wit of a British person.
Florida
I didn't know that equaled Florida. What'd you say?
The weather in Florida. Oh my God! It is disgustingly hot, disgustingly human, and they
Disgustingly human.
and they have cockroaches the size of fucking small furry animals. These cockroaches are like this motherfucking big, and you think I'm exaggerating?
He's not. He's not. Moreover, what's even worse, Steve? What's even worse? There is not a single house in Florida that I have ever seen that does not have some level of a cockroach infection.
Yeah,
almost every house you can open up a drawer and you'll find a little brown bean, and the minute you see that, you go, "Oh, this house has at least 5,000 more."
So the thing that you see every night where I lived anyway is the outside of your house at night becomes completely covered in sleeping tree frogs, sleeping lizards, and cockroaches.
Yep.
Some of the cockroaches are as big as your goddamn hand. Plus, we also had these things called rider spiders, which are the ones that draw the zigzag down, and those will get to the size of your hand too.
Do you guys not have this thing called pest controllers?
No, we do, but Florida
They
sucks,
don't.
dude.
Yeah,
Florida's
pest controllers
how do I-
cannot handle Florida.
How do I explain to you how shitty Florida is with bugs and stuff? It'd be like it's like the Australia of America.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean,
So
The cockroaches are 5 times bigger and they fucking fly.
Yeah.
What is wrong?
they fly and they got turned gay.
Guys, let's they're turning the friggin'
Bugs are just literally just tiny monsters. Like if they were bigger, if you had a bug like as big as, you know, a dog, everyone would be terrified of it.
No, they eat them, bro. You want to know what a fucking giant cockroach is called? A goddamn lobster. They're not that far off from each other. People think they're delectable, and it's fucking gross. But at least people in Florida have a consistent source of this new superfood, apparently, cockroach milk.
Yeah, people.
That's real.
Cockroach sounds like I've never.
He almost did. Blackie, go play fetch.
Cockroach just sounds like a really bad STD.
I was gonna say it sounds like a penile way to intake marijuana.
Just throw. I told you that cat will play fetch.
It's just like stay away from Dave. He's got the cockroaches.
That's an STD that really bugs me, Ocean.
Right?
Oh dear.
God damn it! I killed my own stream. Fuck.
I'm sorry. What are we doing here?
The president doesn't know the difference between HIV and HPV, despite having one of them. Oh
So what
my
is it with the
God.
You can get both.
There you go.
It's more HPV is more common with women, but men can get it. They just don't have any much negligible effects. Like cervix cancer, obviously, is the number one thing for CVP. But men can get it.
I can't even find my cervix. Mr. Logic is trying to reassure. Oh,
wait, how are you going about looking for it? I'm kind of curious now.
With the pinky right up the old dick. So, Cirrus, Mr. Logic is trying to assure you that you did not debase the stream, and I'm sure that the follow-up is that I did it. But whatever.
Yeah, you're the one that thinks it's a windsock thing. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what seemed reasonable to me at a younger age. Because I didn't think there was. This is a real thing I wondered about when I was a kid. I didn't think there was much room inside your butt. So I thought when guys had sex with each other that maybe one penis would be hard and the other flaccid, and the hard one would fill up the flaccid one like wind to a windsock.
That sounds like a really bad hentai. Not gonna lie.
This was very much prior to my biological.
I'm surprised that I haven't seen that porn before.
Yeah.
That's
That is an amazing thing to have just put in my head.
Mr. Atheist, I can go ahead and tell you there's a wonderful example online of how that is an incorrect representation of what happens. It's called meatspin.com.
Listen, I've already seen lots and lots of gay porn. Kate, I was probably around 11.
How young were you?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like, okay, so I actually mentioned this in 2 episodes of Sunday Mass ago. The first one was Shannon Q, because she was the one going, no, stop it. No.
She does that all the time.
Her beautiful Canadian voice that I love so much. So we were taught really terrible things in sex ed. So one of the things was, if neither you nor your partner have AIDS, but you have anal sex, that can create AIDS. Condoms only work 15% of the time.
There was somebody that actually promoted that. We had a guy in our community, Carlos was his name, and he actually advocated the position that spontaneous generation, HIV was just magically created within 2 minutes. Yeah. I'm not exaggerating.
As though they have something else in their butts and no person had had heterosexual anal sex at any time.
Because of the gay gene. The gay gene spontaneously creates the AIDS.
The gay gene.
And whenever you have...
It creates the gades?
It creates the gades. And whenever the gay people have the sex within 100 feet of a church, it turns everyone in the church gay.
I love that cosmological. We apparently found cosmological's funny button.
We did.
Well, I think this has been a very productive.
Cosmological's funny button is gay butt sex and turning churches gay.
Now, I will say that at 11 years old, that's what I thought might occur. By 2 years ago, I wished it would occur between me and Brendan Urie, but that's entirely different. Brendan Urie is the lead singer of Panic at the Disco, since apparently I'm the only person here with the musical taste of a 17-year-old lesbian.
No, actually, Pam's a huge fan of them.
I happen to like one of their songs.
I had Panic at the Disco playing on my MySpace for a little while.
Fuck you.
I literally just created a MySpace again.
Best part is I'm not even joking about that.
I just subscribed. I'm taking it back. Fuck you. Right back when you had to code your own themes. Oh, look, I got a bunch of.
Where you had to end.
Oh, you didn't have to code your own. It was a click of a button to put Panic at the Disco on there. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I was just thinking of all the how shitty.
Oh no,
I remember using.
I was coding in HTML and I didn't even fucking know it when I was doing MySpace.
I would love to know what that means.
Embedded YouTube videos in there, so I put embedded episodes of Ron One Half and stuff, and just be like, "This show represents me," and no, it doesn't.
Do you remember what a graphic design mess those fucking pages were, though? It'd be like, oh, I turned my whole page bright turquoise blue, and now all the text is only a slightly brighter shade of that. With stars all over the fucking place, which are actually upside down pentagrams.
LiveJournal and Zanga had all the same problems. It was even gods.
And
some people were like wizards with their MySpace, where they turn everything into one page and all that shit, make it look really fucking pretty. And
but ladies and gentlemen,
then we got to Facebook, where we all got the corporate same account look.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Smizmars, though, don't you all miss the social anxiety and utter depression you found by not being on anyone's top 10 list?
Oh my god!
I never had that happen to me. I was always on the top.
Fuck you too,
Steve. To be fair, Steve, you don't exist, so I think
I was just figments on their MySpace pages. I'm debating that. You guys are gonna help me out.
A lot of drama not being on someone's top.
They were just like my top 10. My top 10.
And then they expanded it and made it a top 16, just so that people would get less dramatic.
The top 10s are Tom, Steve, and Jesus Christ.
That's the top 10.
Pretty much in that order. Tom was. I got rid of Tom as a friend, actually.
Tom?
You monster!
I know.
Tom was there for you and no one else was.
The message I got from him was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Did anyone
Are you
else?
talking about Tom Rabbit or are you talking about somebody else?
No. I'm talking
Tom
about
from MySpace.
Tom from MySpace.
You know?
Oh, Tom.
Tom.
I was very insecure in the YouTube or in the MySpace years. So I remember having a friend at school who like, she and I were like best buds. And then one year we didn't have many classes together. And I noticed the day that I moved down from number 1 to number 2, and then just like getting on to MSN Messenger or maybe Trillion at that point, being like, hey, so I couldn't help but notice. Are we okay?
Mr. Atheist, you fail to realize that Trillion is MSN and MSN is Trillion. Trillion is also Yahoo. Trillion is also AIM.
Trillion is a bunch of failed messengers.
Yes, it is.
I had Trillion at one point, but I definitely had MSN Messenger independently from Trillion.
Should I?
I never got Trillion.
I had.
Was never that much of a wizard.
Yeah.
Usenet was the way to go.
I disagree, Steve. Me and you can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry. You also use Linux.
I was an IRC guy.
I'm not running Linux right now, though.
You're running Windows at the moment?
Yeah, I can't figure out what happened to my grub loader. Help me out. Figure it out for me. I put in a new motherboard, and now it just boots right in.
You can't dual boot into Ubuntu anymore?
No, it has UEFI, and so, I mean, I checked the BIOS. Everything looks right. I just, for some reason, the partition's still there for the EFI bootloader. Can't do it. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to like replace the grub loader without fucking up my partitions or anything.
That's really weird. I've never. Granted, I only ever had one laptop that I dual booted into Linux and Windows 7 at the time. So I haven't done it recently, especially not since I started working on actually.
We're losing live viewers. They're running away.
They're gaining them. They like Tech Talk.
I like Tech Talk in the appropriate, but I was like, what? No.
Well, okay, what's actually on this?
What's going on in the live chat is people are having an argument about it.
Yeah.
Linux versus
Microsoft.
My machine's a badass.
Says,
Linux is way better.
Nadine says that she'll be able to actually help you out. By the way.
Nadine? Okay.
Yes.
My machine is a badass, but it's on Windows 10. But fuck all of you. Like and subscribe.
Mine's a badass on Windows 10 as well.
Mine's a badass on Windows 10 as well. We're all friends. Yeah. We can all be friends.
We're all friends again. I'm trying to make this rise up to get.
I'll build my own goddamn computer.
Same thing.
Same here.
Yeah. Well, and I bet Ocean, you and I probably built our own computers for the exact same reason.
Wait, I built mine for gaming, but
I built mine for gaming as well. But then it
does double is what you're talking about as well.
Yeah, mine's the reverse. I built mine to be the ultimate fucking like artist machine, and then I have my. So what I'm looking down at you on is my Wacom Mobile Studio Pro 2, which I can use as a Cintiq on it. But then it turned out with all of that beautiful hardware, it also can run every game fucking amazing.
Yeah, I originally had mine built for gaming, and then this last upgrade was because my computer tech, he's a fan of my channel, and he was like, "How long is it taking you to render videos?" I was like, "Well, it's taking this long for this long videos." Like, cool, we can make that faster. So I went from a 6-core, 3.3 gigahertz AMD to a 3.4 gigahertz 4-core Intel, plus a bunch of other stuff in there. The only thing that's still the same on my computer from the day that I got it, or from the day that I first built it, is my graphics card, because fuck if I'm replacing that again anytime soon.
Ben Amaru, this is what I do for a living, though. So
graphics card is what I'm looking forward to replacing soon, actually.
Yeah, I would fucking too if you could get a goddamn 1080 Ti anymore, you fucking miners. Like and subscribe. And by miners, I mean
Bitcoin miners.
Bitcoin, yeah, we figured that.
Yeah, that's right.
Ocean's just like,
that's right.
Yeah. You know, I knew what you meant. I know why graphics cards are going up. I've had friends that have been doing Bitcoin mining for years, and I've never had a computer up until just now that could feasibly do any of that. So
no, you don't want to mine Bitcoin right now. It's all fucking Ethereum. If you want to do like a high risk but super high payoff possible coin, you do like Vertcoin.
Oh,
there's no money in mining Bitcoin unless you have a giant fucking super machine with 100 SLI.
You just have like 3 servers set up just doing nothing but Bitcoin mining.
My brother actually works for a place that's all they do for. It's on behalf of a place in Pakistan, which is doing it on behalf of a place in China. So
Of course it is.
yeah, he's probably rigging the next election too. I don't fucking know.
Is he Russian? Because if not, we can't blame him on anything, right? Is that how that works in the United States? We have to blame it all on Russia?
Blame it on the Russia. In Soviet Russia, election votes you. Sorry, that wasn't very funny. I'll go away.
It's okay. I'll go away for you. Hold on. It's just... it doesn't work. At least I'm not sitting on the couch right now. Like, I started to just kind of sink into the couch in streams when I was on there. Now I've actually just brought a chair over here because as uncomfortable as this fucking is, it's better than the couch.
Well, this is uncomfortable for me, so I am going to go grab a bite to eat. And I'm going to watch Westworld Season 2 tonight, even though it's not over yet. But I usually wait till it's like all done, but I can't wait.
You can't wait.
I've been watching Westworld live too. I also love. Hopefully, there's a new John Oliver tonight. But I was just going to suggest. That we, since it was starting to come to a lull, that we all just start talking shit about Mormons again, because that's usually the great unifier I find.
Not really. I love Mormons. I think they're great. I think they're great.
They're so fun to talk about.
Hey, if I was ever go back, I'd go back and watch.
Stereotype.
I'll tell you right here and now. Sorry, Cosmo. I didn't mean to step on you, but your mic sucks. What, Cosmo?
Yeah, so I want to know if anyone else has heard this. I've heard a stereotype that Mormons love trampolines. It's a really weird stereotype, but
yes. Adult Mormon couples will buy, with no children, will buy a trampoline for their home.
Yeah, I've been in a few houses that have trampolines. Yes,
Yeah,
and green Jello. Something weird with green Jello.
Also, mixing sherbet with Sprite. Actually, one of their better contributions to the world.
These are the 3 sacraments of Mormonism.
Well, we got to have a fourth. It's a secret one, but funeral potatoes, also fucking delicious if done right. But Steve, you were about to say you'd go back, if you had to go back to a religion.
Oh, yeah, if I picked any religion, I'd go back to Mormonism, sure.
I'd pick some kind of like hippie Unitarian. Or
Is it because of the women?
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
That's what I figured.
I got to tell you, I had plenty of, I'm not trying to sound like a stud, but I had plenty of Mormon women, and I got to tell you, my experiences outside of the church were way better than the ones inside. Get it? Inside the church? Never mind. I'm done.
I think we're probably only going to be on for about 15-ish more minutes, mainly because my stomach is telling me that food is definitely in my future.
Yeah, I went shopping and I got to eat.
I think I'm going to try to hit up a Mormon church soon, just to like be Mormon for a second.
Well, and you know
have
what?
Some fun.
And I'm not agreeing with the theology any longer. Don't get me wrong, but I did have a lot of good experiences with the LDS Church. I thought they were great people. I think matter of fact, the guy we had on the Non Sequitur show, I don't remember his name, but remember the guy we had on that actually was talking about the LDS Church? He was one of the first people I've ever seen. Yeah, whatever his name. Yeah, what was his name?
Naked Mormon, Naked Mormonism, something like that.
He was one of the first people that I actually saw that actually put forth the correct narrative. I mean, I don't think he said anything that was incorrect, and that is fine when people take that route. When I hear a lot of anti-apologists or a lot of atheists go after Mormonism, they get a lot of shit wrong, and it's just flat out wrong. And it's just like, wait a minute, if you're going to be skeptical and you're going to put forth this narrative that you have a higher, degree of being veridical, then you need to actually do your due diligence, because I see a lot of people putting forth a bad narrative, and it's just like, look, that's not what the Mormons believe. If you want to know what the Mormons believe, go ask the Naked Mormon. He had it right. He really did his research.
Was there something of mine that you thought came off as inaccurate or incorrect?
I haven't watched any of your shit.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you're like holding.
I'm going to. I have watched your stuff. I haven't watched.
Yeah, no worries.
I plan to. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, my father.
And there was some diss coming from Steve right there.
That's what I thought. I was like, is
you
this
need to come off so strong, dude. I know that you hate Mr. Atheist, but you don't need to just like. I don't know, man.
I really do.
My father was like such the typical bishop father, super hardcore, ends up in the stake presidency and high council a few times. The official narrative of the church is something that is so deep inside me that, so usually when I will talk about it, I will talk about like, here is what they will say, here is what the actual story is, here is what their response to that would be, here is what the true believing Mormon why they would dismiss this as not problematic. Yeah,
that's a fun approach. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if you see anything in there and you're like, this is all bullshit.
Oh well, I mean, like people were saying, oh, Mormons, if they make it look like that Jesus freak thing where the kids are like, oh, Jesus, and I'm like, you've never been a Mormon church because they're not evangelicals. They get it really confused.
Right. To some degree, they get a little crazy and weird in the temple, but as far as the in a weird way, I almost spend a little too much time defending that there's a lot of historical precedence for a lot of Mormonism, and to treat them as though they are the most crazy just because they're the most different of the mainstream Christian religions isn't necessarily accurate. However, I do think that their methods of, so like my last episode was on childhood indoctrination and the way they do it. The one before that was the first vision and the actual origin story of the Book of Mormon. The one prior to that, which is there's only 3 so far, was about their teachings about the natural man, as I'm sure you remember from Mosiah 3, with their natural man is an enemy of God and has been, is involved Adam and will be until he pushes off the natural blah blah blah. So I think there is a lot that is not just harmful but inherently evil because it puts such a pretty bow on what are terrible ways to live your life and teach your children. But because of because of the way they have that be the shining light and example to everyone, the actual state of their life, the state of their families, the state of happiness they actually feel is never actually put out for display. They play a public character that always makes Mormonism seem appealing, which we know from psychology for lots of things. People who are too excessively playing characters that don't match themselves tend to make the problems worse. Fake it till you make it in that regard doesn't work.
I have no idea what it's like to play a cartoon caricature of myself.
Dude, I've said
me
Mr.
neither.
Atheist is a character too.
Flat Earth, man.
Yeah, dog. I could talk about Mormonism for days. I will say, so just so you know, Steve, a few things though. They've been stopping the potlucks. They're not doing those anymore in a lot of places. Yeah, they've been stopping a lot of the more social stuff that seems fun. They are apparently, my dad told me this, and I think I wasn't supposed to repeat it, but apparently they're very likely about to go from a 3-hour to a 2-hour block. So that part's not so bad because fucking Mormon church was 3 hours every Sunday for me growing up, an hour every day at seminary, an activity every Wednesday evening for 2 to 3 hours, and 2 Saturdays a month, sometimes whole day shit.
Oh, so I can just like show up at a Mormon church and there'll probably be something going on.
Honestly, yeah, a lot of times, especially if it's a stake center. So a lot of the places that are like the central hubs for several wards, they'll have something going on every night.
So I figure that the one that's nearby me is probably some kind of central hub. There's only 2 nearby, so
if you really want to get a feel and start and get the best representation to what it's like to be a Mormon, I would suggest going to one of their chapel services on the first Sunday of any month, because that's when they have their fast and testimony meeting, and that's when just any schmuck gets to walk up to the podium and tell people about how they were blessed this week because they paid their tithing, and so they had enough money for milk or some.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Correlation.
They've got a subscription fee, don't they?
10%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yep. Pre-tax, bro.
Pre-fucking tax? Are you kidding me?
Pre-tax.
Their stuff comes through pre-tax. You can get that, like, I am a Mormon on my direct deposit, and it'll just send it to the Mormon church.
Yep. Well, I didn't know they've set direct deposits up for Mormonism. That wasn't around in my day, but they were starting to make it so you could pay electronically. The thing I saw most often was outside the bishop's office, you had a little gray envelope with a little slip that had carbon paper behind it, and you'd go right in and you'd manually give it in. A lot of people, you pay cash.
That's what Christianity did right, is they threw in that fucking 10% shit. They just ran it like a tax system. There's no other religion that has that.
Well, Mormonism did it as a hard number and also constant reinforcement of that this is a commandment that you need to be adhering to. They're not like the collection plate ones where the only person who really knows how much you put in is you, unless you make a massive donation.
And the narrative. This is one thing I did.
I don't know what they would do with me.
I didn't like the fact that they made it such that if you didn't pay your tithing, you couldn't get blessings from God.
Right.
And that I don't buy into.
But once again, if you then play the actual devil's advocate, if you will, and you come at them with like, okay, well, what about poor people in third world countries? Is the difference between them and me is they're not paying their tithing? You get people like my dad who are advanced apologists who will then switch to a narrative of more. Well, no, it's not even necessarily that we'll have worldly blessings, and the blessings we have in the afterlife. Those are going to be where you actually see those, and we'll switch from. Even though no bishop is getting up every Sunday when people are getting up and going, I got all these blessings where I could afford milk and I got a rebate I forgot about. And that's all because I paid tithing. No bishop's getting up and correcting that shit. They're letting that narrative spread at every one of these goddamn buildings.
Can I spread a narrative that needs to be spread to everybody?
Yeah.
For anybody who's fans of the Godless Iowan.
And it's my right to have a flag hanging out of that open gaping butthole. My forefathers died so I have a flag in my open gaping butthole.
Damn right.
That was from the Godless Iowan.
So should I start? So, Mr. Atheist, should I start watching Westworld season 2, or should I wait to binge watch it all at once? It's got 4 episodes left to go in the season.
You know what, man? I would actually say binge it because it's not so. It's good enough that you'll wish to see the next one right away, but it's not as good as the first season. And there's a lot of things where, because of the precedent the first season set up, you're kind of like, I just want to get to the last episode to see how all of these strangely disconnected things are clearly going to tie into each other.
Okay, so I'll hold off on that. There's plenty of other things to watch. It's only got 4 episodes left to go, so I don't.
I'll wait, and then we can binge it together.
Yay! We can hold each other and cuddle on the couch and drink ginger beer.
Yeah, Kate showed up not a moment too late.
Nope, we got about
Hello,
10 minutes
Bionic
left. So Bionic Dance is here for the blood sports.
Actually, I was tempted to see how long I could just sit there and say nothing at all. Just like go through the whole thing, like I don't know. But,
and then just say goodbye with everyone. I saw you come on the
and
stream
subscribe
as I was finishing up my rant, and I was like, I'm not stopping.
I stopped.
I actually did not realize that I had the link to this until I got a notification from Facebook. I was like, who messaged me? Oh, so yeah.
I also messaged you to figure out if you were going to come in because Chris sent you the link, and then I was like, so you can come in, but then I was like, she doesn't even know who messaged her. And she's like, who's this James fucker?
Give me something to watch here. I don't know what to watch tonight. I want to make dinner and want to sit down and actually watch. Well, lay down. I actually watch
what
my
genre
laptop.
are you trying to watch?
I like sci-fi or just.
Oh, because my go-to was going to be, is there a new Last Week tonight?
Vacation's good. I'm not really interested in a comedy tonight. It's something kind of like I really wanted to watch Just League. I haven't seen that yet, but.
Have you seen Turbo Kid?
Turbo Kid.
It's kind of a comedy, but it's very much a take on, say, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, that sort of thing, except it takes place in Canada.
Oh, you want a comedy from HBO that will fuck you up too? Barry starts out like really funny, and then it just takes some turns, and then you're like, do I love a murderer? And it's only 8 episodes long. Super good. It's
Barry?
Bill Hader. Yeah, it's Bill Hader plays a guy who's an assassin who, in tracking an individual to, this is I guess the funny part, but in tracking an individual he's supposed to kill, he ends up accidentally in an acting class and falls in love with it. So he actually takes the acting class on top of being an assassin.
Wait, so it's got no spoilers. It has 8 episodes. Is that the full season, or is it canceled?
Full first season, yeah.
It's a comedy drama.
It's definitely, it starts more comedy, and there's always something funny in it because Bill Hader's in it, and so there's always some level of funny. But yeah, some of it gets dark, some of it it's really hard to make me cry, and I had that like hard lump in the throat, just like.
You've had a lot of hard things in your throat.
Just a ginormous amount. Ginormous really just describes everything about what's been in my throat.
I bookmarked Turbo Kid. I'll look at that later. I think I will watch a series.
I'm hoping you've seen The Orville by now.
Oh, love
so
Orville.
Good.
Okay.
So good. I was, Eddie, I had read the reviews going in, and I was like, okay, this is going to be one of those things that's going to be fucking brilliant, or I'm going to be so let down. And I watched the first episode, and this is going to be like the best series. It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I cannot wait for the next season.
No, what about Voyager though? Because I was not a big fan of the new Voyager. At all.
there's a new Voyager?
I don't know if it's the newest. What was the name of the
It was
newest?
coming out at the exact same time as Orville was.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I hadn't heard at all.
It came out on TV for like what, 2 episodes, and then it all switched to like Yahoo TV or something. It didn't even sustain.
What was the name of it though?
Was it not Voyager? I can see the captain.
It's the one with they got the damn mushroom drive, spore drive. Who the fuck came up with that? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then they have a tardigrade as a pilot. Discovery.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that they need to be shot.
They had a tardigrade as the pilot. Yeah.
Tardigrade as a pilot. Okay.
I'm sorry. A tardigrade, like the micro animal.
Yeah, they had
the other one.
It was a tardigrade like the micro one, only on a much larger scale, and it piloted them via a spore drive using fungi throughout any part of the universe instantaneously.
It sounds like they were trying really, really hard to not have a copyright claim from Dune.
It was bizarre. I was like, this is not Star Trek that I know.
Kate, if you have Spotify, would you like to trade playlists so that way you can see what I can see what a 42-year-old lesbian playlist looks like, and you can see what a 17-year-old lesbian playlist looks like?
I actually do not have Spotify.
Well,
I just have a double-wide buttload of MP3s.
Oh, okay. I was my reference was like I was like talking about like Fallout Boy, Panic at the Disco, Melanie Martinez. You'll find all of these on my.
Can you be
I
any
had
more
a lot
emo?
of these on my MySpace. It's true.
You do need the black eyeliner and shit, man.
I'm telling you, man. If you go far enough back, you'll find it.
Did you ever paint your fingernails black?
No, never my fingernails. I did do the eyeliner thing for a while. Went to a lot of punk rock shows.
Have you weeped uncontrollably in the last several days?
Did you ever have black and white checkered socks?
No, I had black and white striped socks all the way top and down. Now, so one thing I want to make clear though is, while I am not in any way disparaging anyone who has this lifestyle, this was that same identity crisis I was talking about. When I came out of Mormonism, my fiance and I broke up. I'm hiding that I'm an atheist. I've got school shit just racking me down. I'm working at Verizon. I'm doing cocaine. Like all of these things just made everything very. I went through a lot of phases.
Cocaine's supposed to make everything better. So what the hell?
Cocaine made it so that I could do almost 20 hours of school, 40 to 50 hours of work, and go out every night and like virtually never sleep.
Hell of a drug.
It really is. I only have nice things to say. I don't do it now, but boy, is it fun?
I actually went through the Happy Days version of being an atheist. I was an atheist. See, I knew you would be the only one who'd laugh. I knew it. Our senses of humor are so close.
Yay! I hope that's the case. Though I tell everybody, I'm a very easy laugh. I just like.
You're very easy everything.
I was about to say you're very easy in general.
I do have standards.
Yeah, the standard about so high.
Your standards are sending me a random message on Facebook and saying, "Can I call?" That's your standards.
Oh, okay. Listen, that did technically happen. But what we were talking about was the possibility of a collab, and I fucking hate text-based messaging systems. So I just went, hey, is it fine if I call? And I called through the Facebook app because I'd rather have a conversation than a fucking because everybody injects tone of voice. And because I apparently am just socially not adept, nobody ever interprets my tone of voice correctly. So
that's just weird because a lot of my viewers lately have been telling me that when they read my comments, they hear my voice in their head. Like apparently if you watch enough of my videos, you can go from that to my text and totally get what I'm doing.
I could actually get that. Yeah, Kate, I did that too, actually.
Kate,
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that, Kate. I have done that.
The weird thing is, Kate, that when I read my comments, I hear your voice.
But I do the same with Ocean too.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
Dude, when Ocean sends me a message on Facebook, I hear it in his voice sometimes.
I type the way I speak as well.
I think it's very deadpan, very matter of fact.
I think it's often,
speak as well. Sorry,
I think it's often the case that is the normal situation. I'm saying I feel like there's a specific barrier when I speak via text. So I'm a very direct person when I'm in conversation in general. And a lot of people, if you write that out, think I'm being mean or angry. Or a lot of people think I'm upset with them when I'm not. In fact, even if I am stating something that did make me upset, I will lay it out with details. This happened with my roommate who we've been best friends for like 15 years. And he came home from work and I was cheery and he was like, oh, so we're good? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, you told me about that stuff that upset you and I thought you fucking hated my guts and we're going to be like moving out when I got home. So yeah, I so often I've grown a hatred of text-based communication because of that.
I have as well. I have lost many of an opportunity to get laid because of a miscommunication in text.
Mm.
Not be understood and things like that.
He's missed at least 40 opportunities to get laid just with me because he's assumed every time I was joking.
Yeah, I know. I assumed that I am not gay, so that presents a problem to that whole.
I assumed that until about last.
Oh, is that what? Oh, Steve.
He's all yours, Ocean. I'm okay with it.
I was talking about the multiple times that we've hooked up. Now you're telling me you're not gay?
Well, there's a technical thing here.
My entire life is a lie.
They're just words, man. They're just words.
I knew Steve wasn't gay because he didn't want to cuddle after fucking me in the ass.
This is true. Yeah, I'm not a cuddler.
I was wondering about that. I thought you were just into like domination.
No, I think I'm like one of the very few straight white men out there any longer. I don't know. Everybody seems to have me on that spectrum. I'm just like, oh, I like girls. It's okay.
I'm on the spectrum, but it's not that guy.
No, I have a question then, and this I don't mean as a joke. I mean it as an actual like something with maybe a little bit of depth. I, for example, but I, for example, only started really exploring my sexuality in about the last year outside the realm of what is considered heteronormative. And I know I still have this big mental block between me and penises. So despite all of the sexual tension you might see between me and all the men, I have not touched another man's dick. I'd like to get
shit. I've done that, but for any different other reasons, accidentally.
Yeah, but guys are walking around with 1/8 of Cthulhu hanging off their crotch. It's horrific.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get over that, despite the fact that the rest of it is all. So a lot of that I attribute to growing up in a toxic masculine environment. But no, growing up in a very.
How old are you though?
Hetero is normative. I'm 28. Okay. That hetero is the normal thing to go with, and those are my thought process is, had I grown up in a secular home, I probably would have sucked a dick 15 years ago.
My parents wouldn't have cared. It never really was a topic. They knew I liked girls from like a long time, so it never was an issue.
I'm not saying you don't like girls. I'm not saying you don't like girls and that your parents wouldn't have cared. I'm asking the society in which you grew up in, where everything was such a binary choice. Do you think it's possible growing up in a future society, you're exact same person otherwise, it would have just been to most people, you just kind of fall for who you fall for, and gender isn't really even a consideration?
Yeah, I mean, that goes to the whole nurture versus nature thing, right? So I can't say it's possible. I don't
I'm a nature guy when it comes to sexuality.
I think there's a balance of it. Go ahead.
I'm not so sure. I mean, I hear this a lot from folks that if we grew up in a world without binaries like that everyone would just fall in love with everyone. I'm not sure I buy it.
I wasn't saying that either. I think there is a balance, and I do think there are people who I still think, while there are male individuals who I have become romantically enthralled with, if I were to ever settle down, it would more likely be with a woman, because I think the thing you're not supposed to ever say as a potentially bisexual male is the question, which gender do you prefer more, often is considered offensive. But I actually do have a preference at the moment.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like I can try to write with my right hand, but I'm definitely left-hand dominant. And I think it is a spectrum. Yeah. And I probably lean pretty damn heavily towards the lesbian end of it, but hey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I ever did decide to become gay, it wouldn't be more that I decided to become gay. Yeah, is that how it works?
Steve, your phrasing is problematic. And I want to talk to you a little bit about your privilege.
So I just want to make sure that if I decided I didn't have a grudge fuck with Ocean, is that gay or not gay? If it's just strictly because, you know what, just strictly out of spite and grudge.
Your phrasing is problematic from a social standpoint and from a standpoint of our personal history of all the homosexual sex that we've had in every single room of your house.
First of all,
that's beside the point. The main thing that I wanted to bring up was you're deciding to be gay. That's just like there's some problems there, Steve.
Our eyes never made contact, dude. So
I understand that. So that's part of the kink. I'm into that. You're into. Oh wait, is that just you avoiding me?
So I would say my actual position is that if people were raised in a more secular world,
Are you sure your actual position is not reverse cowgirl?
They would actually perceive themselves on a
good choice,
as opposed to a line with direct choices, and even the edges of that spectrum where they fall down would continue to expand, or perhaps be a gradient as opposed to clearly defined.
I don't see how that kind of would work for me. I mean, like, I am attracted to the female form. Now, if you posed as, well, Steve, could you hypothetically in those kind of situations imagine like a transsexual? You know, there's a lot of transsexuals I think are very attractive, right? I mean, look at Blair White, for God's sake. Jesus, she's gorgeous. But, you know, I just happen to like certain things that only women have. Like money and success and cars.
So you're transphobic.
All right, so I'm going to go from I'm going to go from my very detailed explanation to my what if in very elementary terms. But what if you had been raised in a society that didn't convey, ew, penises?
Yeah, I don't think
Here's the question, and Steve, I saw this argument a little while ago, which is if the reason why you're saying you want to turn down somebody who's trans is because of the equipment issue, that just means you're a vagina fetishist.
Okay, let's go with that. I like vagina.
All right, then you're not straight. You're just a vagina fetishist.
No, I can totally empathize with that, since my main sexual restriction right now is a total wall between me and a specific set of genitals.
Well,
so there's probably two possibilities, really. You can either be a vagina fetishist, but I think you can also be cockphobic.
Sure. Yeah, I'm probably straight up cockphobic.
No, I've seen more cocks than any of you motherfuckers combined. I was in the military, so.
You mean in person?
I'm going to call myself a vaginophile.
A
vaginophiliac.
Philiac. No, that was a dead vagina, isn't it?
She didn't say necro.
Necro.
She didn't say necro. The fact that you immediately went to that though tells us a lot about your taste.
Hey,
Steve, is there something that you need to tell us? Explain.
I have this
maybe in too much gruesome detail.
Yeah.
For me,
we have you, as they say, dead to rights on this issue.
I mean, I know there's rigor mortis, but stop riding that corpse, baby.
They're quiet.
Guys, I have to say this. I think the joke's dead.
Yeah.
So let's beat it a little harder, if you know what I mean.
Killed it, man. All right, I gotta go eat.
I was about to say, Steve, weren't you supposed to dip out like 20 minutes ago?
I'm doing that right now. I'm so hungry.
Yes, but he couldn't leave with my glorious presence here.
Look at
There's like people here that Steve is romantically involved with. This is great.
Kate and I will never agree on some of the topics, but personally, I've always liked Kate. I think she's entertaining. She's funny. She's articulate. I enjoy talking to Kate on anything but the shit that we don't agree with. I'm straight up.
Okay, well, in that case, in about a half hour, there's going to be a knock on your door. I suggest not answering it or stomping on that bag that's on fire.
Oh, I thought you might come over and we'll share ginger beer.
No, I can't have ginger. It triggers my seizures.
I went straight to assassination in my head that she was threatening to kill you because she's part of the lesbian Illuminati.
No. It's not like when I tell people I'm going to send my minions to give them a severe, and I mean severe, talking to.
I mean, I told Mr. Atheist that we're going to send the Hammer intercontinental barrage missiles to his channel.
I'll give you a tongue lashing, a thorough one. I gotta go eat.
That was at me, right? Wait,
you know what?
Who's gonna
Steve, what you were saying was problematic. Again,
you guys are giving me a complex.
Why do we have an SJW representative?
I'm the resident SJW representative now.
I hate you.
Apparently so.
I'm using my white male privilege to smack all of you in the face.
I'm sorry, Osha. We can't have Waffle House anymore. This is not a thing to do. I now revoke your Waffle House privilege.
Well,
wait a minute. No, you can't take that card.
You can still go to the blue Waffle House.
Ugh.
Oh, get out of my house. No.
Okay, so let me give you a little history on me. My schooling was at one time all aiming toward becoming an actual gynecologist, and learning about what all the STDs looked like is why I'm not now a gynecologist.
That sounds very accurate.
Yeah, and it wasn't because I was. This is the funny thing people always do is they're like, "Oh yeah, you like pussy that much, right? You just love your pussy because you want to be a gynecologist for the pussy." No, I knew that most of my day would be checking out like 70-year-old women's vaginas. That is not why anyone becomes a gynecologist. Just imagine being a waitress or a waiter, and you've been serving coffee all day. You then don't want to come home to fucking coffee.
Can I just point out?
By the same token, I worked in 4 video stores and love movies, so it doesn't always work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Can I just point out though that for anybody who is triggered by the idea of a blue waffle, I'm about to show one on screen.
No.
Stop.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get your channel shut down.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going.
Here you go, guys.
Yeah.
Here you go, guys.
But Kate, imagine if working at that movie store, if the only movies you were allowed to watch were the ones that the customers came in and gave to you and told you, look at this.
Well,
that's the difference.
That could be horrific, yes,
Yeah.
especially since at least one of them did have porn.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay.
There we go.
That is gross and disgusting.
I do not like blue waffles.
And syrupy.
I do not like them, Sam. I am. I do not like.
I do not want to poke that with a fork.
I was gonna say I do not like them in a boat. I do not like them. Will not poke.
That is horrible.
Well played. Well
Thank
played.
you. Thank you. Well, that seems like the moment the whole stream fell apart. We done.
Yeah, it's blue waffle goes on screen and then everybody just kind of shuts down.
I like cheese.
I love cheese. We're the same person. We
Crazy.
I'm
in a room full of white people. Cheese is going to be a pretty agreeable topic.
It really is. Considering the
shit!
breakfast that we.
Look at the diversity in here. My God, I've seen more diversity at a Trump rally. Christ.
Cosmological.
Yeah, who knows what he is?
We do have an astronaut. We have an astronaut. We have a fellow space traveler. We have whatever the fuck you are, Mr. Atheist.
We have the token gay. This is a Trump rally.
We have an Aussie. We also have we have the token Nord. We have the token Nord. That's what that is.
How's
Very
Trump
Nordy.
faring in Australia these days? I know he wasn't doing great for a while. Is his popularity increased?
Trump.
Yeah.
Here.
I know he was a
Well,
joke. I know he was a joke there for a while, but that the conservatives
for the
there
most
started to
part.
embrace him.
For the most part, he still is, but there is that there is a small group of the real extreme kind, the same sort that you have in America. They're just nowhere near as populous yet. But even I was surprised actually by how many there actually are.
Yeah, all right.
That's
Make
what
the
I
Outback great again. Oh, that was bad. Sorry, that came out bad at the very end. But
That's racist.
I just imagine like to be an Australian and so unintelligent that you sympathize and like Trump. Those are probably like the only Australians who go to Outback Steakhouse and were like, "Oh yeah, it was really accurate." That's just like home.
See, the difference is when you go to Outback Steakhouse, half the things that they're trying to serve you aren't also trying to kill you outside the door. That's the big difference.
Also, nothing will ever be better than Texas Roadhouse as far as those steakhouses go. I fucking love Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's okay.
Their bread rolls are amazing, but what I like to get there is I'll go get a steak medium rare and then I will eat like a bite of it. I'll take it home, I'll put it in the fridge, and then I'll stick a fork in it and eat it all bloody and cold, and that's delicious.
I will say there's one place that I think will beat out Texas Roadhouse. Just not on steaks specifically, though they do have a steakhouse. Ocean, you might be able to agree or disagree with me if you want, but I think the Marietta Diner has most things beat.
I haven't tried
Wait,
it, but I'll check it out.
What are you talking about?
Steaks.
Well,
Is anyone here a vegan? Is this something that's gonna just?
I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
I can
Pick
go
a
to
side.
vegan for you.
Okay, Cosmo, I just want to point out that the conversation has been revolving around meat for long enough.
Yeah, Cosmo, pick a side, you lazy bitch.
Well, I've tried nothing but vegetables, but I had a hard time getting down the life support systems. So
Ocean. What I was talking about is as far as overall like restaurants go, I think Marietta Diner has a pretty good setup.
That was even funnier because it took me longer than the rest of you to get it, and then I got it, and it was beautiful.
What was that, Ocean?
I think it's Fugo de Chao.
Is food a what?
Oh, Pho de Chao?
Pho de Chao?
Super good. Yeah, you go there and they just walk around with the fucking food on the swords, and they have the cheese balls and the fucking... I'm sure they're just serving you pigeon that they spiced up, but it's delicious.
Yeah, there's one in Sandy Springs and there's one in the middle of Atlanta, just south of Brookhaven, if you want to check it out.
I think I need to check that out. That sounds awesome.
It's expensive, but it's good.
Oh, yeah. I think...
Then let me wait until I have my job again, and then I will definitely do that.
Yeah, you can easily rack up $100 going there.
By yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there still people watching the stream?
It's
There
like
are.
70 to 80 a plate.
Yeah, there are still people watching the stream, Cosmo. I don't know why, but I've already come to
Yeah, I was
terms
going
with
to the next question. Why are they watching?
Yeah, I've already come to terms with the fact that the people who watch my channel obviously don't have that great of taste, and I apologize to all of you.
He just shat on all of his subs. Listen, you can go to my channel.
Where the quality is much higher.
Logical if you want. You know, YouTubers who don't insult their subscribers.
I was mainly insulting myself, but you know, that's fine.
Here, I'm going to send you a link.
Another freaking atheist needs us to know that he's not watching, he's just listening. Eat my dick, like and subscribe.
Gotta say,
Yeah, if you're not subscribed to my channel, you eat yellow snow and like it.
I think I am subscribed to you, actually.
Are you?
I know I am.
See.
Well, if you're also not watching, well, that's even worse.
I was the one on the non-sex show last week when you came on. I was like, oh my God, Bionic Dance. Shannon told me we need to link up. And I'm positive that your reaction was like, what does this guy think I'd do with this? Okay, thanks. Fine. And then I was like, oh, that was the worst. I'll figure it out down the road. I also, if you watch that whole episode, I was the guy in the last debate on the atheist side.
Okay.
Okay. What are you gonna do with that?
I'm supposed to have my debate on the non sequitur show, but unfortunately, Brilliant Doubt is just like AWOL to everybody at the moment.
Like, so I know that the third, which was today or yesterday, was now yesterday for me, was like a pivotal day with where his job situation was going to get a lot better. And so it was supposed to be. So because my thing's not till Friday, I'm still holding out. I'm not until Wednesday or Thursday will I start going, can anyone fill in? I think he is going to come back because he had gone AWOL and about 2 weeks in called me and we talked about it and he told me all the shit going on. So I think he is coming back.
I've allegedly got a show coming up, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after on the Non Sequitur show. So we'll see how that goes, I guess.
Very cool.
What are you on for the Non Sequitur show for?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I should check what Kyle said. Well, apparently there's a Calvinist minister who might also be gay. So
this is going to be fun.
That does sound fun.
Was he predetermined to be gay though?
You got the fun one. They're making me read a goddamn book.
Calvinist.
A book? What book? It's not by Stephen King, is it?
No, it's Esoteric Hollywood by Jay Dyer, and then I'm coming on to debate Jay Dyer, and he is the worst.
Is he?
Remember, out of all the books
you've talking to Kenny Rhodes, and I just got his book. I haven't cracked it open yet, but it's called The One Who Is, and I don't know exactly. I think he's talking about God, right? But I gotta like flip through this thing, figure out what the fuck's going on.
So Jay Dyer had a YouTube channel with 500,000 subs, and then on a different social media platform kept using the word tranny derogatorily and got that account taken down. So in rebellion, he deleted all of his social media accounts, including his 500,000, because I guess he showed them, and now he's back and trying to build back up.
Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, but he's just one of those word salad assholes. He's got some kind of education, but he only speaks to the audience of what would either be like, it's like reading, I said this the other day, it's like when you're in the 4th year of college and you're fucking like you need to get a paper done, but you kept using the same word and it wasn't very sophisticated and the expectations are higher because this is your last year. So you go to a fucking thesaurus website and you just type in and you're using words that are close to correct, but they're not technically correct because thesauruses aren't perfect. He does a lot of that. He really is trying to fluff up his argument with an advanced vocabulary that doesn't always apply.
I see. So, okay, I have to ask, just because of what you mentioned before, which did you hear first? The derogatory term for someone who's transgender or mechanics talking about a transmission?
Are you asking everybody else what they thought I meant?
No. I'm asking which one you heard first in your life, because I heard the transmission thing second, and I was like, that's a thing? I had no idea what they were talking about.
I grew up in the country in North Georgia where like everybody's a fucking mechanic, so I heard transmission first.
I think I heard technically the derogatory term, but being used by members of that community. So I don't know if I'd call it derogatory, but in New York when I was probably in my preteen years, because older transgender women will use and will use the word colloquially as it's their word. There was the lady, she's the lead singer of it's a really good band too, and I can't think of it, but she wrote a book called Tranny, and in it she talks about how I think it was called Tranny, but it's definitely in the title. But in the book she talked about how like modern day people going through that were attacking her for using that language, and it was like I was part of the community of people that made the way for you and got that word all hateful. And this is my word if it's anybody's word. So fuck you. So I saw a lot of the older women that had that kind of attitude.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, like when a word starts out fairly neutral or even positive, and then all of a sudden people are totally triggered by it. Like I remember when I was little, you could call someone Oriental and there was no racism intended or heard or implied or anything.
Right.
And then all of a sudden everyone's like, I'm not a rug, I'm an Asian. Right. And I'm like, okay, because the change took me by surprise. I said Oriental once about a person, and everyone went, and I was like, what did I do?
Yeah,
and
the white people went like that though. It wasn't
but I was so surprised because I never, ever until that moment heard that it was something horrible to say.
Right. Yeah, and that's annoying when you get held to a standard you weren't even aware of. But then so much of this like language and cultural appropriation shit has just gotten so crazy and out of hand. You saw that. Did you see the girl with the Japanese dress who was doing the Papa Bless thing? And they were like,
Chinese,
this racist bitch, whatever. So that's going to come off racist.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when people talk about cultural appropriation, some part of me thinks, shouldn't you be flattered? They love you.
Right.
The reason for Oriental, though, is that nobody uses the term Occidental or Occidental.
It was
which is supposed to be the opposite of that. So it's not. It's used as an other. But yeah, but generally
I mean, a long
people
time ago, it's like fallen out of use. But I have
like
heard
the 1700s, right? So, but it was used. Like, the reason why that people get offensive at Oriental is that it's been used as a term of othering in the past as well. So, and since Occidental has been dropped, it might as well drop Oriental as well.
With every individual thing too, you seem to have an unlimited line of who could then be offended, as far as like that the person who's claiming, well, we invented this, and but that was taken from so and so, and it's almost impossible to get to the root inventor. I've even seen people when they talk about like Black appropriation who will make the case that there are Black people in America who are appropriating from African culture, and the reason it's still appropriation because the poverty levels are so distinctly different that what they're doing is just as bad as when Justin Timberlake takes a traditionally Black dance move. And so there is no,
that's interesting.
To any individual who wants to take it to an extreme conclusion, you can find those to do it. Did I ruin it again?
Well, no, I think that there's a trend of with cultural appropriation has become cultural protectionism, and that's which feeds into like, you start telling that to white people, don't do your own or don't do other people's culture, don't steal this from other people's culture, and so on. And so then they get radically into their own background, and then you get white pride shit.
Which the funny thing is,
being racist for doing that.
You could do.
It gets
That is true.
really crazy.
You could make justifiable arguments that weren't based on just one race appropriating another if you went with one person of basically class appropriation or something. That sounds still too extreme, but you could point clearly out a rich person exploiting a culture less fortunate than their own, and you could actually come up with like, this is exploitation, but you should take it by a case-by-case basis and not just a blanket accusation. Because then there's all these funny exceptions too. I don't know. The whole thing to me is not thought out well enough. Not enough skeptical minds applied to it.
Often the cultural appropriation argument is bullshit, but it's occasionally there's some parts of it where it's like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. When somebody is obviously not being given credit or something like that, or there's obvious stealing that's going on.
Yeah, exploitation.
In the case of the person that was wearing like the Chinese dress, which was Chinese, goddammit, there was if that shouldn't have been a problem, but some people on Twitter freaked out about it.
Well,
yeah, the
think
backlash from that was really strong against the person that tried to call her out.
Well, I think, though, that we're missing the truly important point of all of this, which is Cirrus eating Cocoa Krispies?
Yes, I am.
I think so.
Yes. I thought you were going to take it a different direction. But the really important thing here is, how as white men have you all been oppressed by society?
I thought she was just going to make a pun.
I could have, but I was just fascinated by the cereal for some reason.
I have
and it's a white man eating dark cereal, so clearly it's racist.
Cirrus, are you white? You've got black hair, and so I had doubts.
Technically, I'm Indian by heritage, but I definitely look very Caucasian white, and I'll take it.
Yeah, you're passing for sure.
I really don't.
That's my friend Eric Murphy from Talkie. Then always calls himself passing white.
I will say that the worst thing about this cereal, though, I've never gotten this particular brand of Cocoa Krispies. But apparently the flavoring is not mixed very well with the cocos. So it's actually losing. It's like you can see the flavoring washing out on the sides of the bowl. So I'm eating chocolate milk with regular flavored Rice Krispies now. Really depressing.
You seem to have one sitting on your shirt.
Uh-oh.
Son of a bitch.
Mr. Atheist.
Yeah.
Mr. Atheist, can I ask you a question?
Always.
Okay, I was talking with a Mormon in the non sequitur Discord earlier.
Okay.
And he asked me how I define the word no, K-N-O-W.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever tell you to ask that question?
So there's a lot of the religion that's built around the word no. That sounds like a more modern apologetics as the country's become more skeptical, but they've doubled down in their testimony meetings with saying things like, I know the church is true. I know Joseph Smith was a prophet. I know blah, 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 blah. But the specific line of apologetics you're talking about, there are adjacent things we definitely learned, but that it doesn't surprise me that that's one that's becoming popular now.
Well, yeah, that was like the first question he asked me. How do you define the word no? And I was like, well, if you can objectively demonstrate it to be real in reality, that's how I know it's real.
Well, and the question is, the word no.
This is how you start getting into philosophy.
Yeah, the word no could still be used in subjective ways. But to say, I know the church is true, what is important about that sentence is 90% the word true and only 10% the word no.
Clockwork, you need to Google justified true belief.
Oh, I know what justified true belief is. I was just asking him.
Yeah. It's just word games they play to try and. I'll take on. I have an open invitation to a devout Mormon, apologist or not, coming on my channel to have a discussion about their beliefs. So, anytime anybody comes across those people, feel free to send them my way.
I had an ex-coworker who was Mormon. I could probably get him, maybe, possibly.
I do want to make sure he's like every Sunday he's there for all 3 hours. That's kind of important to me. No one gives a shit about Jack Mormon.
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is because he technically just like he got really upset at his parents when we were working together and started smoking and like drinking soda and all kinds of stuff to just like piss on them.
That's the Jack Mormon. Did he work on Sundays ever?
He, come to think of it, I never actually. He has to. He got promoted to manager, and managers at Quick Trip have to work on Sunday before they get promoted to.
Really devout Mormons won't take jobs that require them to work on Sunday.
Okay, then he would definitely be a Jack Mormon. I'm sitting there like, I don't remember his schedule. This is years ago, and I'm like, wait, no, he got promoted. I still remember that schedule. That schedule was the reason I fucking quit.
Yeah, I have a lot of people on my Facebook page from just my history, and yeah, none of them will do it. It's just it's funny too, because one of them right before I launched my channel was saying like they will come up with an experiment that I will be able to empirically demonstrate that Mormonism is true. They never got back to me on it.
I would love to see that experiment. That sounds fascinating.
Well, and the point I made to him was like, if that is possible,
put on these underpants.
would you have been the one to come up with it? And wouldn't everyone believe in Mormonism if that was true?
What I like to do a lot
What
of
sort of
times.
experiment would that be? I wonder.
I think he thought he was onto something like, okay, so we'll start with a prayer and then blah, 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 blah. And by the end of this, he'll get an overwhelming feeling of warmth. But I'm just sitting here like, bro, I tried bath salts a couple of times. Good luck beating that.
God damn, Mr. Atheist. Holy shit.
My college years were a little crazy. And now I have nothing in my system. You could check my hair for weed and you wouldn't fucking find it. Like the DNA thing test they do.
You'd find it all
Yeah,
through my
but
system.
fucking bath salts, man. Come on.
Okay, so first of all, let's
This is
get
why I
something
shaved my
clear.
head.
Bath salts did not make anyone eat anybody's face. That individual seemed to have had a psychotic break, and the only thing found in his system was marijuana. Bath salts was a synthetic form
Therefore, marijuana.
bath salts. Exactly.
I love reefer madness.
Bath salts was a synthetic form of cocaine that was stronger than cocaine, but the come downs were much harder and it was much more highly addictive. It was a lot of fun to try, but I wouldn't do it again.
I wouldn't let you do it again near me.
I thoroughly
I like my
enjoy
place.
clean living very much.
I don't
love
know.
that
Before you give up on it completely, I suggest you try one thing. Like turn off all the lights, draw all the shades, put on Tron, and drop LSD.
I already know.
Oh.
Not with Tron.
He's
Oh,
on
no,
it.
no,
He's on it. No, no.
light show?
Sonic Dance is on it.
Salts.
The only thing I never intentionally took was meth.
Man,
but I
you
do
can get
think I
some
got a
solid
little weed
drugs on
in those
Amazon for
put-ons.
$10. This is great.
You just looking up bath salts on Amazon, Ocean?
Green beer body relaxing.
Oh,
bath
and I never made mine.
for $11.35, rated 3.5 stars, 98 reviews. Mother
Crushing up. You
Check
eat
that
those,
shit out. It comes in 3 different fucking colors.
You eat those bath salts with a Wonder Ball, and you will fly. Anyone remember the Wonder Ball? Oh, I wonder who I do. What's in a Wonder Ball? No,
I think
no
I
one-
need to get a scrying bowl in order to get this shit to ground up a little bit more fine, though.
what surprises!
Mortar and pestle, just.
A Wonder Ball will hide yummy Nestle chocolate with candy stuck inside. No one! Seriously?
No, just you.
Well, my brain keeps mixing it up with Happy Fun Ball, so I'm lost.
Yeah,
My brain just keeps on going to regular balls, and I think that might make me a little gay.
It was net. Yep, it does. It does.
No, okay, maybe this is just the lesbian in me talking. I'm not really vicious towards guys, but I've always wanted to use a guy's nutsack like a speed bag.
Oh, goddamn. No.
You'd have to
Sonic
do
Dance,
it with
no.
2 fingers, which is lesbian you're all familiar with. But you'd have to go. Yeah, that'd be the best way.
Just no.
Basically, play Fruit Ninja on their junk.
Just no. Just fucking no.
Seriously, it's really funny because I just said could be out of context. You could either describe how to hurt nuts or how to finger something. Just play Fruit Ninja. Just go crazy.
God damn.
Here's the dragon fruit.
God damn it.
So there have been several times where me and Pam are sleeping, and she needs to get me up for something, and so she's like slapped my thigh to get me up, and I've been telling her for the past 2 years to stop fucking doing that, because it turns out that when you slap somebody's thigh right near where the nuts are, with 365 goddamn days of the year, there are at least a handful where my nuts just get hit each and every time.
Oh,
well,
every time my kitty tries to wake me up, she will often do it by thwacking me on the nose with her paw, but sometimes she tries to do it by getting up onto my chest and sticking her nose against mine, and she has unerring nipple aim. So, yeah. And she likes to keep the claws out, too.
Free nipple piercings.
Yeah, I love my kitty, but sometimes I want to throw her across the room.
That's how I feel about Blackie. I'll try to go to sleep, and typically he'll sleep on the foot of the bed. He's basically a fucking dog. He plays fetch and everything. But sometimes my toe is sticking up in just the right way where he thinks that it's a perfect handhold for his mouth, and he tries to drag my toe away from my foot. And he will do this for, we've tried it, just having me sit there, lay there, and do nothing. He will do this for up to an hour, relentlessly, until he pulls the blanket away from my foot. And then he looks at the foot, doesn't understand what's going on, and just stops. But as soon as you put the blanket back on the foot, he immediately grabs the big toe and starts trying to pull it off again. Object permanence among cats is not a thing.
So when training dogs, I learned something that actually works very effectively at training cats too. And that's anything they want to put in their mouth that you don't want them to put in your mouth, shove it in their mouth. So like my cat would try and chew on my fingers, I just shove my finger in her mouth. Now his mouth. He doesn't do it now.
We just coat the stuff they try to eat in hot sauce.
I do that with my cat, but he still fucking bites my shit.
Really? It worked for me.
It's just like he'll stop biting me in the moment, but it doesn't mean like I pick him up like maybe like a day later, and all of a sudden it's just like half my hand is in his mouth, and I'm like, God, no, stop it, get off of me.
Okay, so the live chat, Callus Black just said, look up Pain Olympics. Do not look up Pain Olympics. It's not worth it. It's not one of those things where you're going to like look it up and be like, oh, that is gross, but I can't wait to show somebody else. It is nights of sleep lost for you. You will not sleep.
I've managed to know about that for about... I've known about that for about 10 to 12 years, but I've never actually Googled it.
I saw it, I think, my sophomore year of college. So
somebody described something to me involving a hatchet, and I just didn't have any desire to look it up.
Okay, so I'll just give you the description. If you'd like to watch people cut open their own penis and scrotum and do terrible things to the things within, go look up Pain Olympics.
Why would anyone ever do that?
Wow. I will go ahead and say this is actually really brutal.
Listen, I was on bath salts at the time. Somebody was going to give me $20 for more bath salts.
I once ordered Vietnamese food with maximum spicy. Pain Olympics.
So yeah, no, I'm just going to say I
about the same.
I literally just watched the Pain Olympics video, and yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm going to have nightmares now.
Just so you know, Dr. Zayas, he asked, does the Pain Olympics have the one guy with the guy shoving a metal rod up his urethra? There are people who do that as a sexual act. That's not necessarily painful.
Yeah, it's called sounding. It's good fun.
I haven't tried it, but I'm glad I found somebody to try it with. No, okay. Sorry, I'll leave
Mr. Atheist, God damn it.
You've managed to dead air the stream several times.
I met a girl that showed me her sounding set.
Yeah. Okay,
I was like, what is this? And she's like, she pulled out this rod that had like a bunch of curves in it, and I was just like, that's for going where? She goes, yes. I go, oh.
Well, if you want to know about pain, I once watched 3 Adam Sandler movies in a row.
I got nothing that tops that.
I really don't.
That's it.
I know of a way to top it, but I don't have the bravery. 3 Pauly Shore movies in a row.
No. And in one of them, he played both the male and female lead.
I kind of hate my life a little right now. These are the people that I've chosen to surround myself with, and I really don't understand how I got here. Somebody please send help.
You know you love us.
I just looked up Pauly Shore and I went, oh, that guy.
We're great. You know it.
Can
I ask Mr. Atheist one more serious question, and then we'll get back to the question. What?
Okay. I'm going to have to, at the very least, I won't be able to take a serious spin on it.
I'll give it a whirl. Actually, you have my permission.
Well, it's another Mormon question.
Oh, another Mormon question. These are the greatest ones.
This happens to me a lot. I'm ready though.
All right. You don't have to feel bad for me. My dad died of cancer a year ago. And this Mormon guy I was talking to on the non sequitur Discord said, well, maybe God needed your dad to come to heaven to teach other people. Now, where did he get that from?
Was your dad a Mormon?
No. My
So
dad
that makes
was,
zero sense, because according to the Mormon religion, if your dad died not a Mormon and nobody was baptized on his behalf, he's not teaching anybody. He's actually in a place called Spirit Prison waiting for someone to be baptized on his behalf in the temple. So that makes
I
no
love
sense.
the that's a
that's
creative
what
name, Spirit Prison.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. He was a primitive Baptist, and Google it if you don't know what that is. But
I think I can infer.
Is that like a Baptist with
yeah.
a spear?
It's hardcore fundamentalist Baptist is what it is. But that's what I didn't understand. You know.
Yes, Dr. Zayas, the Mormons do baptize dead people. However, you either need the permission of the family or they need to have been dead for a certain length of time before they will do it. They have several times baptized, posthumously baptized Anne Frank and Hitler.
That's when the expiry, the patent on their soul goes out. Yeah, the copyright is out. So then the intellectual property of the soul is then public domain. So then you can start baptizing people.
A few years ago, there was a bit of a controversy because of just the sheer number of times Hitler had been baptized posthumously, showing that it was clearly a priority for a lot of people to be like, we just want to make sure Hitler has a shot.
Isn't there something where you can actually message them and say, I want to be off your list? Like they actually let people not be baptized?
Yeah, so that's more for live people. They don't really give a shit if you say it for a dead person and a certain amount of time has gone by. I don't remember what the exact amount of time is,
If
but
you're
like
a live person and then you're dead for a certain amount of time, does that does the rejection during your lifetime carry
No.
over?
So
after
my
you're dead?
parents,
Oh, damn it!
My parents almost certainly will be posthumously baptized. Someone in my family, if they're still Mormon, by this time when I die, will have a posthumous baptism. Fuck, where is I?
So they just
so
yank
as far as
people into
the
their respective afterlives, or what? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That
Well,
is
no.
soul
Everybody goes to
appropriation,
Spirit
sir.
Prison in their mind. To Kate's question, though, like for example, I haven't actually sent in that letter yet. If you just send a letter yourself, it will take a while. There's actually a law firm that will do it for free for people who don't have means, and then you donate to if you do have means, so that you're covering yourself and other people, and they will get your names off the record within like 2-3 weeks or something like that.
So there is an opt-out option.
For live members, which is actually something Catholics don't even have. Once you're baptized a Catholic, you're always considered a Catholic, even if it was against your will.
once saved, always saved.
Always.
So basically, get baptized as a Catholic and then go gay fuck your way through the world as much as you like.
That is
You're a
exactly
Catholic.
what. Okay, so there are priests who already do that, and they won't tell us the names of those priests. They just shuffle them around. We're talking about different things.
That's with kids, not adults, though.
Supposedly, this new pope is right now sending off investigators to countries that are having those issues and aren't. Supposedly, he's not going to be like the popes of the past. We'll fucking see, because you're still covering the people from the fucking past, and that motherfucker Cardinal Pell in Australia just needs to go down hard.
So not just left.
Yeah, right when I need you. Come on, Nacha, let's talk shit about Cardinal Pell.
He's just like, oh nope, can't do that. I'm just gonna straw man Natja now. Natja left because that man is his hero.
Yeah. Oh wait, do you guys hear that? That's Nacha coming through. Yeah, I actually really like Cardinal Pell. That wasn't very good at all, was it? Yeah, he's a bit of a hero of mine.
That was better.
He just typed in the live chat. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro.
I always wish I had a cool accent, but I don't. And then my imitations morph between British, Scottish, Irish, and Australian the longer I use them. So I don't know.
I hope you go spend some time on my channel. All my channel is impressions and accents.
Yeah.
I've gotten good at the different kinds of British accents now. I can do like different neighborhoods.
The most often requested being Stewie Griffin. I get that one a lot. Oh yes. Mum, Mummy.
Okay,
Well,
now
thanks.
do Invader Zim.
I don't know that one. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I never
you're no
watched
fun.
it. Yeah.
I never did
thanks.
either.
So is nobody
I
going
just
to
wanna
sing the Doom
thank you,
song?
Mr. Atheist.
Is no
What's
one
that?
gonna what now?
That is nobody going to sing the Doom song then?
Doom, 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 da doom, doom, da doomy, doomy, doomy. I can't do it in order. I don't know. I should memorize it someday. I've got a bunch of nonsensy songs I've got memorized. Unfortunately, the Doom song isn't one of them.
Okay, which impression is this? It's not easy being green.
Yeah, it's
Pee-wee Herman.
It's a very bad Kermit.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that's
It
horrible.
was Jordan Peterson. What is fucking
Yeah.
wrong with you? Why did you jump to conclusions? Have you not?
Well, I
Hey,
said
you
Pee-wee
look at-
Herman
I'm
was
pre-subbed.
close.
In order for it to be
Jordan
Jordan Peterson, you have to say something that is just absolutely doesn't make any
Oh my
sense
god,
at
yours
all.
is right on the fucking money. I believe.
I don't. What is God? What is
I'm
Jesus?
sorry.
What is
Ocean,
Christ? I don't know the answers to
Ocean,
these
remember, religion is what you it's what you act out.
As you observe the political substrate of morality within the confines of
I
a bunch
am
of words that don't mean
triggered
the things I
to
think.
fucking hell by postmodern Marxists taking over my education.
Yours is
What
yours
the
is
fuck
literally
is this
perfect.
goddamn word salad I'm listening to?
You've never heard Jordan Peterson
I'm
before?
ready. I'm
Yes, I've heard Jordan Peterson.
right now, ready to turn everybody into their pronouns that match their genitalia. I've got a magnifying glass I'm going to look at people's crotches with.
Yours is so.
Are you? I have a question. Since Jordan Peterson is obviously with us right now, what do you feel about Lobster Society?
I like lobsters a lot. I think that we should be modeling our entire civilization after how they breed. A lot of people should be peeing on each other's faces.
What the fuck?
and how do you feel, Jordan, about state mandated monogamy?
I'm for it. I'm absolutely in favor of that. I think that that's
You're
going to
blowing
be
my mind with how
it's
good
going to
this is.
set up a lot of powerful advantages in our society because then we're not going to have as many school shooters. That's that all of them could have been prevented by enforced monogamy. That's the
enforced monogamy was supposed to.
that's what he said in the fucking interview. It blew my mind.
I thought it was. I thought he said that the amount of rapes would go down with enforced
No,
monogamy.
he was talking about school shooters. Like he was talking about the incel thing.
He also recently stated that he does believe that women who wear makeup but don't want to be sexually harassed are hypocrites.
They're liars.
Oh my god! So
Alright,
you know,
but
remember,
They wear
the
makeup.
crazy
If you
Jones
come
says
into the
in-
room
in
wearing
Jordan
makeup
Peterson's voice.
and you look at me and you talk to me, you are actively lying to me in that moment.
So I would just like to point out that I'm so glad that we finally got back on topic because Friended4ever is a rabid Jordan Peterson fan.
Oh, good.
Oh, hey, there
I
we
thought
go.
the topic was penises, but okay.
They entertain the shit out of me.
And now I hate him even more. I don't know.
Because
if I
a
could
lot of
sing
times
in
I'll
a
read.
song in Stewie voice.
I've sent screenshots of pages out of Jordan Peterson's book to people and just been like, "Can you explain this to me? What is he saying?"
Actually, I
Like,
can't
there's
really
a
explain
whole
it.
passage with him talking about God and what it is, and I was reading it and I sent it to Shannon Q, and I was like, "What? Can you explain this to me? You're work in the same field as him." And she was just like, "I resent that," and I was like, "I don't care." Can you explain to me what the fuck he's saying? And she's just like, she reads it and she's just got really confused because it was just like God is truth and the feeling you get in this one moment or whatever in the fucking. It was just, what the fuck are you saying?
See, the thing is, I can actually describe and define God better than anyone I know. Because God is a bearded man who created a galaxy, a father, a son, a ghost, good versus evil. God is George Lucas.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Why does God have such a weak chin that he needs to hide under a shitty beard?
I don't know, Mr. Atheist. Why does he?
Matt.
Can God create a chin so chiseled that he himself can't?
What?
I don't know.
Can't fuck it.
Sir doesn't like that argument.
No. What do you mean by chin?
Cosmo. I think Cosmo's making fun of the fucking. I made a video about arguments against God that I think we should stop using in counter apologetics, and like half of the comments just people like, actually no, all theists are insane. Like, the fuck, is that really your position?
I think I just thought of a brilliant
I watched your bad
idea.
arguments video today, Cirrus.
We should make a parody video. We'd need a lot of green screen and a couple of good animators. But we should remake the show Cosmos, but instead of Neil deGrasse Tyson, just a bunch of Jordan Peterson nonsense. That would be so funny.
If you
So when you look at the galaxy in a neo-cosmopolitan sense,
Apology would like to
The
let us
universe
know.
is 13.8 billion years old, and here we are at the beginning of time. No gays here.
Apologia would like to let us know that he worked for George Lucas, and he can assure you that he is not God. I would like to say to Apologia, and I've said it before, I'm sorry, sir, I respect you a lot. However, I do have to blame you in part for the prequels, and because of that, I think that causes a rift between us.
Yeah, here's the thing about George Lucas.
yeah.
No, his beard and the way his skin kind of changes tones from one side of it to the other. I don't know. Something about it just makes me think that he looked at his poorly done circumcision job and thought, I want that on my face.
You know,
I need to see this guy's beard. Because I've seen some bad beards before, but you guys are describing like a work of art.
See, I did have a bad beard, and then I shaved right before the stream because I realized that I looked like a fucking hobo.
I don't have a
I look like a fucking hobo, but I
Yes,
just
you
embrace
have a bad beard.
I don't have a chin without a beard. So that's why.
You have a chin game to rival Leafy is here.
okay,
My
this
chin game is poor.
Iraqi guy is being such a prick in the chat.
Evolution is story funny, but fuck atheist. Oh, look at you, Al.
I wonder if he realizes that not everybody in this stream is an atheist.
All Iraqi says, intelligent design, the creation is the best logical, but fuck atheist. So all I have gathered so far from you, All Iraqi, is that you have an extreme obsession with butt fucking.
And you know, every time I see Apologia, like it was the longest time before I heard his name said, and I kept reading it as Pelosia.
Pelosia?
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, that's what I was doing as well.
It's like there's that actor Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
And my brain kept turning Apologia into Pelosia, like his last name. I don't know. I couldn't help it.
I just the word that it's based on, Apologia.
I thought it was, yeah. Okay. Sure.
Pelosia. There's the church Apologia, which I find hilarious that they just call it Apologia. But then there's also now Apologia.
I mean, the fact that they feel the need to apologize for their mistakes in their holy text. I mean, I realize that's not what they think it means, but come on.
Let's just cut to the future where Al Iraqi is going to come back in and say, actually, the Quran, but not in this good of English, the Quran predicted evolution, so.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
see,
he should. Sorry, Steve. God damn it! I was gonna say.
Go ahead, Ocean. Go ahead.
No,
You're
go
probably
ahead.
funny.
I retract what I was about to say.
Oh no!
I was
You
about
can't. You
to
can't
troll
redact
so
that.
bad. I was about to troll so bad.
I was gonna say that all of you are degenerate clumps of blood. Sorry, has nobody read that part in the Quran? How it thinks that we are clumps of blood?
I know it thinks
thought
that
I thought that we were ugly bags of mostly water.
And our cum comes from our spines or something?
Yes, our cum comes from our spines.
Nobody
we are
understood
clots of
Yes, I
clots of
understood
blood.
what you were saying, Bionic Dance. I
Okay.
saw that episode. I saw that episode. It was the silicon-based life form. Yes.
That should be the sequel for Spinal Tap.
I get you.
Nobody
I'm a
thinks I'm funny.
I'm a Trekkie.
That is not fucking true. I just didn't get that last one.
Cosmological is just like, these are my friends?
Are these my friends? I don't know.
I don't like any of you fuckers.
That's fine.
Fuck all of y'all.
I don't like me either, so we at least have that in common.
All of you are doing the "it's fine," which missed my face just going to a total place of heartbreak. And for some reason, fucking Boys to Men, I think it was singing him. Like my head went.
Boys to
And
Men.
I'll take with you.
Boys to Men. Oh my God.
Well, at least it wasn't New Kids on the Block.
Oh God, my sister went to see them in concert. Fuck me. Yeah, fuck me hard.
Alaraki seems up for the job. I like taking religious fundamentalist people and implying that they're gay because I know they really don't like that.
That's always fun.
Like Jesus loves you in the butt.
I just told Alaraki that Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves me. He loves me a bunch because he always puts Skippy in my lunch.
That is horrible. I don't know why I'm laughing at half the things that are being
I think
because you're a horrible, horrible person.
I think it'd be great if religions had a product place. You'd be reading the Bible and you'd come upon a verse about, the delicious taste of Coca-Cola.
I'd pay for that advertising.
Pepsi is better.
Agreed.
That's what the Bible needs is commercials.
They'd all be from fucking Audible, just like every other goddamn show on YouTube. But we'd like to take a moment to offer you a free audiobook credit. This Bible brought to you by Audible.
I would like. I need to do that. If I ever get an Audible sponsorship,
you could probably get one now, dude.
I probably could. I actually already have one from TubeBuddy. That wasn't hard to get at all. I need to actually start placing that link.
Oh, dude, are you mad that I got the best affiliate address from TubeBuddy? What's your affiliate address?
Fuck. Hold on. Let me. I have mine in my
TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy.com/atheist is mine.
You've got a TubeBuddy, Mr. Atheist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people just call it a fleshlight, but whatever.
Let's see here. What is mine? TubeBuddy. I just have TubeBuddy.com/Thuris.
Mine /atheist.
That's wonderful.
It's so good.
Are we gonna? We should have the atheist versus agnostic discussion with you just to trigger you.
I don't care. I already had it with Steve, and I think Steve. The way it ended was Steve being like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like.
That's how Steve is with mine as well. I had a conversation with Jim Hall from Atheist Edge because he had my first experience with Steve's agnostic versus atheist thing was on the Atheist Edge. Watching their episode of it.
I don't mind making distinctions, but language is used in a certain way, and at the present, the colloquial form of atheist is more than fine. And using an epistemological qualifier like agnostic beforehand. The argument of why would you attach an epistemological next to a philosophical or a colloquial? And my response is, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't I?
Communication, that's what it's about. If people understood you, you did it right.
Yeah, pretty much. There's this thing called common parlance.
I'm thinking about chocolate chip cookies, though. What's that about?
Okay, so Mr. Atheist, I need to know. Exactly how many miles away are you from me? Because if you're going to have chocolate chip cookies...
No, I'm not. I'm on a diet, so I definitely am not going to be having chocolate chip cookies. I just can't stop.
I'm on a diet as well. It has to do with chocolate chip cookies. Cook up, bitch.
I have a chocolate chip cookie central diet.
There was actually a guy who was trying to do an ice cream diet and found that just a diet of strict ice cream would in fact make you lose a lot of weight.
So there's also been like studies of the most important thing for a diet is calorie control. There was a guy who ate only Hostess cakes for 1,600 calories a day, and then he supplemented everything else with multivitamins and still lost weight.
That sounds like I say that sounds awesome, but my blood sugar would literally assault me. Cosmo, we can't get that good. We can't get that in space.
You sounded like a robot goat.
And whenever I eat so much as just a Pop-Tart, my blood just starts going, "Hey, buddy, you fucked up."
Mine's lemonade because I can drink endless amounts of lemonade.
Citrus will do it to me too. In the last, let's say, day and a half, I've drunk almost a quart of orange juice.
Oh, I did a cheat day last week, and I drank the whole thing of a big jug of Simply orange juice. It's so good. Grapefruit juice also I fucking love.
Lime. Anything
lemonade and
lime.
limeade, both.
I pretty much drink exclusively sweet tea now.
Lemonade is almost a sexual experience for me. That's how much I like it.
Whenever I would go to the club and get like a Captain Morgan, I'd make sure they'd put lime in it somewhere, somehow.
Just so it's there.
Yeah. Oh.
So the cool thing about the current diet I'm on, pretty much like any fruits, any vegetables that you actually chew, you can have an unlimited amount of. So now I get my citrus straight from, but it's harder to eat a lime straight, but I still do it.
See, the thing is, I don't actually chew on fruits. Lesbian, you see. Sorry, I had to. There was no choice.
I thought that meant that you were a fan of tuna.
Oh, that was really bad.
Well, there is only one kind of fish I'll eat.
I don't like seafood, but
right to have a flag hanging out of that butthole. My forefathers died so that
I love this. I love this so much.
And what Fred Knotts just said in the chat, I can't have Coke unless it's caffeine free and not diet. So that's really hard to order. I usually get it with Pepsi.
Caffeine free.
Or sorry, not Pepsi. Sprite. What am I saying? Pepsi. I usually get it with Sprite.
Yeah.
It's late. What do you want from me?
Sprite is an easy one if you don't want caffeine. Most root beers, though Barks root beer, I think is caffeinated.
It is.
In a lot of places. There's a lot of places that like directly in Utah, it's not caffeinated.
I had kind of a bad experience the other day, and I still think Barks had something to do with it. Because I was at Jack in the Box, and they have one of those Coke machines.
You already started a bad place, though.
Yeah, well, but they had one of those Coke machines with the menu on it, with the touch screen. And I hit caffeine free, and Barks came up. Right. And then a day later, after I had the caffeine, which is a seizure trigger, I had a nasty one. And I called up both Jack in the Box and Coke, and they insist, no, in those machines, Barks is a special kind with no caffeine. And I was like, okay. I was really hoping that they had mislabeled something so I could sue them for like a buttload of money.
Yeah. Well, and I know there are lots of regions because as I recall, I didn't see caffeine in Barks root beer until I moved to Wyoming, and so they didn't have it in Tennessee, Florida, or Louisiana either. Yeah, so I don't know. But can you do chocolate, or is that too much caffeine?
No, it's chocolate will kill me. White chocolate's okay because it doesn't have the cocoa powder, but yeah, regular old chocolate is not deadly, but it'll kick my ass.
I love chocolate, but yeah, even just a small amount and I won't sleep.
See, I don't have that problem because I was grown up in a household where the 3 drinks to choose from were Coke, sweet tea, or milk. And we were poor, so you could only have a glass of milk a day.
We were poor, but that meant that we got gross powdered milk from the Mormon church.
Oh, God.
So we had unlimited powdered milk.
That sounds like hell.
I was raised by hippies, so just about everything there was to drink was either like you ever get that stuff where it looks like thick apple cider, but it's actually apple juice?
I like that stuff, though.
Oh, man. And then there's like just all sorts of weird, crazy, like I could go the rest of my life and die happy, never again hearing the words wheat germ. Right? I mean, seriously, I just, man, the crap my parents tried to make me eat when I was little, it's a wonder that when I moved to college, I didn't just binge out on nothing but Twinkies and Mountain Dew.
Our parents had like the worst food education and taught us to eat so fucking shitty. None of us knew how to make a salad when we moved out of our house. I'm not kidding. We learned how to after we moved out.
I'm sorry.
We would eat cereal, usually like 2 meals a day. Peanut butter and jelly was probably like the staple of my diet. And then there would always be like, my mom would make like a pasta heavy, like super filler meal because I had a shit ton of siblings. Yeah, so we just
the meals that are wonderful for the first hour you eat them, and then afterwards you're hungry again.
Which is why I have not tried, even to this day, most foods I've not tried. I'm going to be trying sushi for the first time on my channel probably next month.
Sushi is great.
I think it seems.
I love a good California roll.
That's what everyone tells me to start with.
That is the white man's sushi. Like,
I hate pickles. And I'll fight anybody. Pickles.
Which pickles have you tried?
Come at me,
all
bro.
Of them. It's the flavor. It's
Come at me, bro.
all pickles have this one taste in common, and it's that thing that I have a hypersensitivity to on my tongue. And I'm not kidding. If I go to a place with a chicken sandwich and I ask for no pickles, I will taste if they put them on and took them off after they saw it, and I will be like, "Motherfucker, no pickles."
My question though.
Pickles.
Sorry, Gosmo, go ahead.
Yeah, pickles.
Great, thanks.
Good to know.
Now we know there is a God.
Despise tomatoes.
He sure did say
Fine for
pickles.
me, but
Thank you, Zondraxer. And that's the right way to be. I seriously, if a pickle has touched it, I can't taste anything else. It's all I taste is the pickle.
Sorry, I have to do this now.
Are you sure that's not just like suggestion?
No. I will embrace a dick before a pickle. But
Okay.
I do love pickle Rick.
Mr. Atheist is a snowflake pickle.
What'd you say?
I said, I don't know what that is, that weird pickle man that you just, what is that?
It's from Rick and Morty.
Pickle Rick.
Oh, that would be why. I had tell me I had to watch Rick and Morty, and I tried it. And maybe subsequent episodes are better, but I could not, like, the first episode, I was fucking pissed by the end of it. Because you know how, like they had that weird little contest thing to see how many times he could say Morty in one episode? And I'm like, that's not how you start the first episode.
Morty, we got it.
Oh, God. It just... I was so pissed off by the end of it. I'm like, I never want to encounter this show ever the fuck again.
Mr. Atheist, I have a gift for you.
Hey, by the way, what's your favorite like condiment? Because I need to know how to prepare my dick for your consumption.
Pickle.
Eat
Pickles,
my
motherfucker.
dick.
Pickles.
Well, if it's going to be dick, clearly mayonnaise.
Oh, I see what you did there.
all right, on that note,
Okay, if you like the truthful answer there, in small dosage, Carolina Reaper sauce.
You can eat my ass for dessert.
With the pickle. I've got a serious question for Bionic Dance when y'all get ready to
All right.
All right, Solo, a Star Wars story.
No,
Good
wait. Is this going to be a
I
spoilers
have not
one?
seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yet.
Oh,
Shut
if y'all
up.
haven't seen it, okay. Last Jedi, have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Bionic Dance
no, I
hasn't
have
seen
not.
any Disney Star Wars movie.
I saw The Force Awakens. I saw Rogue One. I said, fuck this shit. Disney doesn't know what they're doing, and I won't see anything after.
I kind of agree with you, Bionic Dance.
I hear good things about Solo.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay.
I love me some Danny Glover.
Oh, he's good in it.
Donald Glover.
He's actually good in it. He's actually good.
Danny Glover, I can take or leave, but Donald Glover, I really like.
I like Danny Glover. Lethal Weapon, man.
I'll say there's not a single thing that Disney has done with Star Wars that has been worse than the prequels. So.
Oh, I so disagree. I think that people have really ripped the prequels a new one, but I think that they were way too sensitive to a lot of shit. They're not the bad movies people say they are. They have bad things in them, but they're actually pretty decent movies in their own right.
The age that I saw the prequels meant the prequels were the most awesome thing at the time, but I wouldn't say they hold up for me.
I don't know. It's just like, I mean, imagine if Jar Jar Binks hadn't been a Looney Tunes character. I think people would have actually liked the Phantom Menace a lot better if that hadn't happened. I think they would have been more charitable towards it. But because Jar Jar was one of the first things you see, it just tainted the whole movie for them.
Misa ruined this series. Dr. Zaya said Donald Glover is Danny Glover's son. No, he is not. And in response to you saying you like Danny Glover, I now don't trust any actor over probably the age of 35 to not be a sexual harassing monster. So I have no more actor heroes that are old.
I have actually said we could play like actor rape bingo.
Mr. Atheist, I'm so sorry. I can no longer share any pickles with you. I've eaten the entire jar of pickles.
Just so you know, there's pickles in my fridge.
Drink the water. Drink the water.
Chug. Morty, chug. I was just adding that in to piss off Kate. Chug. Chug it, Morty. Morty, you got to chug these pickles. Or
okay, don't make me come over there.
I dare you.
She will.
I will orbital strike your location. I will nuke it from orbit to be sure.
If you were a
Just-
dude, I
Yeah,
would have
very
introduced a
upset that I ate all
significant
the
amount of
pickles.
sexual tension, but your lack of penis made it hard for me to do.
Oh, made it hard. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Oh, good job.
The
And
funniest,
now you have to wipe it up.
the funniest thing with the Danny Glover, Donald Glover thing, Donald Glover went on to Saturday Night Live and he was like, and yes, the rumors are true. I am Danny Glover's father. I know that.
Well, you know,
I
I was
am.
gonna tell a time travel joke, but you didn't like it.
Oh, that's fucked up. Oh, that's fucked up.
It's
Pull some
historically
Doctor Who
accurate.
shit on here. Yeah, okay. I see. I see where you went there.
I'm stealing that one. Oh, that's gonna get me super laid.
What?
I doubt it, Mr. Atheist. I really fucking doubt it.
I'm gonna start my own pickup artist YouTube channel. Have you guys gone down those rabbit holes ever?
No.
Also, I did a
Fuck
lot during my identity crisis. I learned a lot of things that set me back.
Identity crisis. Did you think you were Batman?
Indeed,
Hmm.
indeed. I thought I was Christian Bale at least.
Okay.
Look at me, I'm the king of New York. Only true fans will get that reference.
Trying to think
I'm
if
not
I've
a true
ever
fan.
seen him in anything other than Batman. I never saw that one where he was like the sadist or whatever.
American
I'm trying to-
Psycho.
That's the one. I never saw that. I'm wondering if I've ever seen Christian Bale in something other than Batman.
Did you see
American
the
Psycho
original-
is fucked up.
Did you see The Prestige?
No.
Wait, was he in that? Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah. Okay, but you didn't see it. Did you ever see the original movie from like 1990, Newsies? What the musical is now on Broadway?
No.
Oh,
I stalked it on a shelf many a time, but I never watched it.
So good. So good. Santa Fe, are you there?
that.
This is the rest of the stream. I'll just be singing
Jesus
Newsies.
Christ.
Do you swear you won't forget me? Bye, everyone.
Shoot me in the head
Yeah.
right now.
Uh,
Shoot me in the head right now.
I might have seen Empire of the Sun.
Is that
That's
a-
pretty
was that
good.
a-
That's
Always-
pretty good.
Is that an Always Sunny in Philadelphia spinoff?
Oh, and I know I saw Pocahontas, but it's like his voice was in it, but I never saw him.
Champion of the Sun.
Let's see here.
You're
I don't see
invincible.
anything else of his here that I've seen.
About Tom Brown's School Days. Is that what it was called?
Never
It was
heard
when he
of
was
it.
like a kid. Yeah, it was a British thing. Yeah, I never saw that. I may have seen The Machinist. Oh, I definitely saw American Hustle. It was fine.
Well, I guess the only time I would have seen him besides Batman was Empire of the Sun, and well, he was little, wasn't he?
You didn't see Equilibrium?
No.
Terminator?
Well,
Salvation?
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh well, no biggie, I guess, but that's kind of weird. It was like I was looking up Matthew Modine the other day because I was watching something. Was it Stranger Things that he was in? I'm like, I know I've seen him in other stuff. I know I have, but I found like one other movie, and I'm like, no, I've seen him in something. I know I have, but I don't know. It's weird.
God, if Michael Caine or Gary Oldman turn out to be Me Too monsters, that'll be very disappointing.
Ay. Okay, someone posted something to Facebook where I was like, that's kind of horrible. And also, that's why I love it. Because, you know, the hashtag also can mean pound. So, pound me too is about the worst thing they could have called that movement.
Pound me too?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Let that process. Hang on. I'm getting there. Give me a second. Oh my God.
It's one of the worst things they could have called the movement.
What's the? There's another
Alright,
word
guys.
for it too. That sign.
Is there? I mean, pound and hashtag are the only ones I know.
You're robot and cosmological.
Yeah, you sound like I did when my router was dying on me. So,
Bye.
Oh, there we go. Everyone was so still. The only person whose camera was on is you, and you were just sitting there. I thought, did my stream go dead?
It was strange for me, I guess, to Jimmy's not saying anything. How odd.
You don't need to know what I really look like, and I wave my hand like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm trying to remember. They call the hashtag, the number or the numeric sign, something different in England, I think.
Oh, do they? Well, I guess they'd have to because they have their own pound sign. Why does their pound sign look like a fucked up cursive L anyway?
Because they're all going to go to fucked up cursive L.
Oh, okay.
Get out.
I was gonna say they were all gonna go to L, but I figured it wouldn't be. I figured it wouldn't be funny enough. Sonic Dance, you have no room to talk. You know this, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think that's the problem.
I'm
Okay.
getting drunk. I don't know what y'all are fighting about.
I don't either, so it's not so much of a fight as Sir is trying to taunt me and it falling completely flat.
A bad word joke, a bad pun, literally anything.
I kept thinking they call it hash in England, but then I was like, that just doesn't seem to be correct, but it actually is. It's just called hash there. And then obviously for music, it's sharp.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Your
I'm
point?
thinking of ways I can use sharp as a oh, never mind.
Sharp Me Too would be like more of like an ISIS thing.
Well, either that or some sort of like self thing, like that Pain Olympics we were talking about before.
Oh no! Don't
Yeah, no,
don't bring it back to
literally-
that.
Or lemon.org. Oh my fucking god.
You mean lemonparty.org.
It's Lemon Party.
Well, whatever.
Get it
Whatever.
right.
One day for my patrons, I'll release the video of Shannon reacting to seeing lemonparty.org for the first time.
I will say this.
It's exactly what you imagine it is, though. Oh my God, no!
I had not seen the Pain Olympics until
What's this all about?
And yeah, no, I'm gonna have nightmares for weeks.
I told you not to look. I told you it's not worth it.
Do you
Not-
understand reverse psychology?
But I then went on to further explain that don't let that appeal to you because that'll still suck. I reversed my reverse.
Well, I've managed to resist so far.
So far.
Don't go bionic dance. Don't go. That's all I'm gotta say. Don't go.
I still have managed to resist the urge to slaughter everyone in an Undertale genocide route, and I think that's an accomplishment for me.
Oh
I'm gonna
man,
be using my
I have
reverse.
I've
done this in.
I have not been able to play the genocide route on Undertale at all.
Yeah, I think is a very good RPG. It's a very short one too. It's like 6 hours long, if even that really.
Is genocide route where you just kill every NPC in the whole game?
Not just that. So it's a. Are you familiar with RPGs that have like randomly generated encounters,
Sure.
like Final Fantasy stuff like that?
Oh, see, I just got Skyrim VR, and that's my whole life.
Oh, see, I haven't done that yet. I have my VR gear, but I haven't done the Skyrim thing yet.
I have the Oculus also, and there is no. Did you ever play Skyrim before?
Oh, sure.
So do it. Put the main mods in. Fucking like the mesh improvements and things to make the trees actually 3D, so they look a little less gross. And once you get in, there is no other way to play Skyrim to me anymore.
See, what I'd really rather do though is because I understand they have a VR way to play Fallout 4.
Yeah, and they do, but it's not as good as the Skyrim. It honestly isn't.
Oh,
The
but
Fallout
I like the setting better though. I like the post-apocalypse thing better. And if they had something a little more like super modern, high-tech space opera sci-fi, I'd even rather do that. Like what the hell's the game I'm thinking of here? Mass Effect.
Yeah. So fucking what's really cool in Fallout VR is what is it called? Not the NAT system. What's the
VATS.
The VATS. VATS is awesome in there because it slows down time, and then you point your gun and it shows you which part of the body you are pointing it at. It highlights the head if you're successfully pointing at the head and shit.
Nice.
That's really cool. I will say this though, as far as Undertale is concerned, though, Cosmo, we can still be friends because I can't be friends with people who've willingly chosen genocide. I can't.
Oh, I was just baptized on behalf of Hitler, so I have to like.
You're a bunch of goddamn nerds.
Cool.
The thing with
You're
Undertale,
a bunch of goddamn nerds.
The thing with Undertale.
This is news.
in your Final Fantasy type games where you have your randomly generated encounters, there's an infinite number of those. You can go out into the wild and you'll fight. You'll fight until you decide to turn the game off, pretty much, if you're walking around. Turns out in Undertale, you think that's the case. You really do. Until you do the genocide route and you find out that there's actually a limited number of NPCs in those areas.
Yep.
And it literally, like, if sometimes you'll go into a fight and just, like, the music stops and it just goes, but nobody came. And then you have to keep on going. Like, you literally have to go out of your way to hunt down people in...
Sounds like my college years.
So what's
But
the-
nobody came. Yeah.
Is it overhead? Is it 3D, like first person, or?
Have you ever played Earthbound on the
No.
SNES? Okay, well, I was going to say imagine Earthbound. It's basically that for the modern era, but it is a top-down overhead RPG. Whenever you get into the battle system, the fights play out in bullet hell mode.
Okay.
Basically, you do have turn-based, but on your opponent's turn, you are actively having to dodge a bunch of projectiles.
Okay.
Not just waiting for their attacks to hit and then go to your turn. And on your turns, you have the option to either fight or try to reason with the enemy.
Huh.
And if you fight, obviously your standard RPG fare, you're going to get experience points and gold and stuff like that. If you try to reason your way out, you can effectively go through the game as a pacifist, killing nobody. And the game has it has a true pacifist ending, a true genocide ending, and then about 1,000 endings in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although most of the neutral endings are pretty similar.
They are. It's usually how angry is Sans going to be when he calls you on the phone at the end of it. I know, like, if you kill Sans' brother during the game, at the end, he'll act like perfectly normal, and then he'll just be like, "Oh, by the way, you can burn in fucking hell," and that'll be just like the last thing he says to you because you killed his brother.
I tried to do. Yeah, it's like $10 on Steam.
Yeah,
okay.
It's on Steam, and I would highly recommend it, especially if you like story. Undertale's got this weird balance where, like, the game doesn't throw its story at your face, but if you go out looking for it, you'll find it in droves.
It looks very 8-bit.
It is. It is an homage to 8-bit games.
Okay.
I tried to do like a kill all bosses run, but I couldn't even get past Papyrus before I had to quit.
Oh, because I can't kill Papyrus. I can't. He's too precious.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. There's just no way. He's too nice.
So you know what's even worse though? If you're doing a neutral or a genocide route, you know what happens to Alphys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never encounter Alphys as a boss. There's a reason for that. If she knows you're killing everybody, she commits suicide. She just says, screw that shit.
I'm going to take this off topic for a second. On my Facebook feed, I just found a guy posted, "Describe your boobs only using a picture of them." 0 likes, 0 comments. It did not work, it would seem.
Cosmo, I do have a question though. Have you seen Glitch Tale yet?
I don't think I have.
I need to send you a link to it. It is what is the best way to describe it? It is a version of Undertale where the game was played so many times that the code got fucked with. And it leads into an entire storyline where they actually manage to get out of the underground and go forward instead of just at the game's ending.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
And it's I don't want to spoil a lot of it, but it is one of the few series that a fan has made on YouTube that has legitimately made me cry a few times.
Every day they're out there making glitch tales.
Made you cry, sorry.
I have no idea what you're saying, Cosmo.
Hello?
Yes, that's better.
One thing.
All right, I think I'm back.
Okay, try
I
Cosmo.
was just going to say boobs. That's all I was going to say.
One thing I've seriously considered doing on YouTube, and I'm sure someone's done it already, is to make like a choose your own adventure series where there's like links to a bunch of unlisted videos, and every time you make a choice, you click the link to go to the next part of the story that corresponds to your choice.
People used to do that when we had annotations where you had clickable.
Yeah.
Somebody just did it with still using the end card things, but they did a game show, and it's seriously like 10,000 videos because every
Yikes.
possible thing you could do, including like phoning a friend and shit, is all built into it.
That's crazy.
Okay,
I would love
looks
that.
like I'm back. So, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was trying to tell you, there's this fan-made game. It's called Undertale Yellow. There's a demo out. It's still in development, and it's really great. It centers around the one of the previous fallen humans.
Oh, okay. So it would be what the fuck was Yellow? Courage? Yeah, Yellow's Courage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd have to try that out. That's actually something that I've wanted to see for possible sequel. I know that Undertale like literally cannot have a sequel because of how it's made. Like it's impossible to have an Undertale sequel. And I understand that, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I would love to see prequels, because prequels are possible, but sequels are impossible because of how Undertale is structured. It's also why Undertale can't have a TV
So
show.
I mean, I've played the demo. So I've played the demo of it. It's extremely high quality. It feels like you're playing like the actual game.
I am downloading it, or downloading Undertale. Downloading Undertale Yellow now. Okay. I'm downloading it, and it is going to be on my list of things to do this week because that sounds great. I also love how the other game they have available is Annoying Dog. Because why don't we need more Toby Fox?
Okay, anyway, it's like 20 of 1 right now. I'm tired. I got shit I gotta do. So I'm gonna take off. I'll catch you evil geniuses later. Gonna make like a baby and head out, all of that. So.
All right.
Catch you like the plague. Have fun.
See ya, fellow space traveler.
That sounds like a good idea for getting... I would, Charles Parker, who just hopped into the stream, or just hopped into watch, I would give you a link to join, but we are probably about to go ahead and hop off because this has been running for...
Yeah.
Dear God, how long? Well over 2 hours.
You know what? I made it longer than Bionic Dance. I'm satisfied. I can leave now.
That's perfect. All right, and Mr. Atheist is not here, so that's perfect. He'll come back to a blank screen. Actually, I don't know. Do we make him come back to a blank screen, or do we wait until he gets back to tell him you made it to the end? Bye.
Up to you. But thanks for the invite, sirs.
For the multiple attempts at getting the invite out there.
Well, hey, at least I made it.
Hold on, Charles Park. You know what? Since we're waiting on Mr. Atheist, why not? I'll go ahead and... Well, fuck, there's no way for me to do it. Actually, Charles, since you're watching this, if you look at any of my videos, in my description of every one of my videos, I actually have a shit ton of ways to contact me. Twitter, email, Facebook, like, all of that's in there. Also, Not Your Witness wanted me to shout out. I'll definitely do that. He's in a room called Serious Discussion. See, I don't know where that room is. I know that on my Discord I have Civilized Debate, which still pretty much goes unused to this day. Everybody does things in uncivilized debate because we're all monkeys. We just like flinging crap at one another.
Send me a link to your Discord.
It's in the description of pretty much every one of my videos, but I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick.
It's a great Discord. You can tell because I moderate it.
That is exactly how you tell. I've sent it in there.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. And let's go ahead and pop in here. I'll just throw that into there as well, just so anybody who wants to join can do it from the live chat area. Since we are waiting for Mr. Atheist to make his way back, but I have no idea when that's actually going to happen. So, with that said, I can go ahead and just continue this.
Is he in the bathroom or something?
I would say he's taking a shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
It says that link expired. Did it expire? It did expire. Okay. It's very strange that link expired because people have been hopping into the Discord. Like,
there's Mr. Atheist.
Yep, we'll just go ahead and copy this link. There we go.
Hey,
Boom.
there it is.
How's
something
it going,
happen?
Mr. Atheist? Welcome back. Bionic Dance had to go ahead and hop off, and I'm thinking we're probably about to run up on the ass end of the stream now.
Okay, I just got hungry, so I went and got some corn flakes.
Did you get some pickles?
Pickles. Yum.
Pickles are delicious, especially bread and butter pickles. They're great.
Oh, he hates us all now. Oh, we're fucking banned.
That face. I just have the camera trained on his face now. It's perfect. But apparently Charles Parker was wanting to hop in, but I sent him a new link that is not expired now. This one should actually be working. And there we go. I do not know. He just hopped in asking if he could hop into the chat we were doing right now, and I told him that we are probably going to be ending the stream very shortly just because of how long it's gone on. But I did send him an invite into the Discord channel so that he would be able to hop into there.
I feel like the stream started going downhill once I popped in. Probably.
Cosmo, you've seen enough of my streams. They never stop going downhill.
Is Charles an atheist or a theist?
I do not know. We can ask him. So, Charles Parker, without me sending the message to you in Discord, and before we go ahead and hop off, what are you? Are you atheist? Are you theist? Are you agnostic? Are you non-existent like Peter McRae?
He's a theist now. Get this motherfucker in there.
Like in here right now?
Mm-hmm.
Welp. I will say this. If I get him in here, can we all agree that in 5 minutes afterwards we go ahead and shut down?
Nah, all right. We'll do it another day.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to do it today simply because of the amount of time available. I need to get to bed and all that fun stuff.
My page is called Mr. Atheist. Go like and subscribe, and then
I think I should probably do.
I'll have you on for a conversation, Charles Parker.
Oh yeah, we have Mr. Atheist. I'd like to have you on too. Cosmological needs more subscribers because I just passed him in subs, and that's not a good thing. He needs to pass me in subs again.
I'm coming for you both.
Oh, your trajectory is way faster than both of us. You'll manage that. Don't worry.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Mm-hmm. When me and Pam went to get groceries, I specifically said that your trajectory is faster than mine. That means I talk about you out of this.
I thought you were talking about my penis.
Oh, no, that's just way too short to talk about. It's nothing to worry about.
But the speed, the trajectory, though. Yeah, Charles Parker, go to my channel and get stuff figured out, and we'll do a. I've done one discussions with theists episode already. You can be the next one. I wish you were a Mormon. Are you a Mormon? Excuse me. Or are you just gonna like pop in and try and call people to repentance? Because if that's your shit, fuck you, like and subscribe.
I feel like we all just kind of want to leave right now. Are we waiting?
No. I was just waiting on Mr. Atheist to finish his spiel towards Charles.
Oh.
No, definitely spiel. With that said, Charles, I will have a conversation with you either tonight or possibly tomorrow. So I'll definitely get that. And for everybody else, go ahead and subscribe to Cosmological. Go ahead and subscribe to Mr. Atheist. Obviously,
I know Matt Dillahunty, so if you're lying, I'll find out.
What does knowing Matt Dillahunty have? Oh, okay.
He said he used to work for Matt Dillahunty.
Gotcha. I just saw that in there.
I'll be messaging him about you tomorrow.
Speaking of which, Mr. Atheist, would it be possible for you to get me in contact with Matt for a show at some point?
That's not really how things work. The best way for you to get in touch with Matt Dillahunty is start volunteering and doing stuff for the atheist community of Austin, and with time it becomes appropriate to do that kind of thing.
Fair enough. I will manage that when I get to Austin. Yeah. Well, I am going to be moving to Texas here in about a year, so that could actually happen at that point.
How are you? That's nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Atheist, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You want to continue this live stream on your channel?
No.
What?
No, I think he wants to sleep.
Well, fuck you too then.
No, I got a bunch of work to do tonight before I go to bed.
I'm supposed to be editing and working on our collaboration, but I think that's going to actually happen
Charles,
tomorrow.
I will see you later this year, son. I'm moving down there myself. If you aren't familiar, Charles, I am the new host of the Atheist Community of Austin show called The Atheist Interviews. Oh, Charles is saying it sounds like he was there in the early days setting up the studio for the Atheist Experience.
Well, it sounds like there's nothing but interesting conversations to have there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they are looking to move in the next year or two. They're trying to get a bigger building. Jamie is the president now, and that's one of his priorities is to move toward, because they actually have a motto. Yes, I know Mark Vanderbrake. I was chatting with Mark earlier today. He's he's in charge of all the production, so he's technically my boss on the Atheist Interviews.
Gotcha. Well, on that, I'm going to go ahead and hit the button that lets us all go to sleep.
All right.